Here's the windup. Fastball hit deep to right. This could be it. Way back there. Holy cow!
Car insurance by DirecTV. It'll change your life. Call 1-800-DirecTV. And by Hyundai. Think Hyundai, but act now for special lease deals at your Hyundai dealer. 7th year in existence for the Phillies here at Bright House Field, a beautiful ballpark in Clearwater, just off 19. We are getting ready for baseball here. And as we do, let's take a look at the Yankees starting lineup today. It is presented to you by Lexus. Leading off playing left field, Brett Gardner. In center field is Curtis Granderson. Mark Teixeira is here playing first, batting third. 2 homers this spring so far for Tex. Nick Swisher will bat cleanup. He is playing right field. Francisco Cervelli in the 5 spot. He will catch today. Ramiro Pena is at short. Kevin Russo will play third base. Eduardo Nunez is at second, batting 8th. And A.J. Burnett is the starting pitcher for the Yankees today. Well, there's a look at Charlie Manuel, who is, as we talk about Joe Girardi looking at a good 4 in his rotation, well, he's got a good 4 going for him, especially with the addition of Roy Halladay and the starting pitcher today for him, Cole Hamels. We'll talk about Hamels in a moment, but first let's look at the Phillies defensive alignment that will play behind him. Brought to you by the Home Depot, doing more on defense. In the outfield, Raul Ibanez is in left, Jason Worth in center today with Shane Victorino feeling under the weather. Worth gets this, moves from right to center and gets the start there. Ben Francisco is out at right. Around the infield, Placido Polanco in third, Jimmy Rollins in short, Chase Utley at second, Ryan Howard at first base. Behind the plate, a late change, Dane Sardina will get the start in place of Carlos Ruiz, and then Cole Hamels is the starting pitcher.
Now you're looking at Cole Hamels, the ace left-hander of the Philadelphia Phillies. So far this spring, he's had 3 starts, 1-0, 1.69 ERA. You can see he's thrown the ball well this spring, only 3 walks in 10 2/3 innings to go along with 9 strikeouts. Opponents are hitting just 135 against him. He's trying to have a bounce-back year. He actually finished under 500 last year as the Phillies were on their way to winning the National League pennant. Let's check out our scouting report on Cole Hamels. He's now number 2. With the acquisition of Roy Halladay, who on any staff would move into the number 1 slot. Less pressure on Hamels now with Halladay. Halladay's the type of pitcher who can increase winning streaks and stop losing streaks. So maybe a little pressure taking off Cole Hamels in that regard. And he's got an excellent changeup to go along with a fastball. He's working on a good cutter. His changeup is his best pitch, though.
Let's look at the time weather conditions presented by Toyota. You see the leaves out there on the palms. Breezy today. 67 degrees, partly cloudy back in the Bronx, while the weather has taken a turn from those beautiful days that they enjoyed in the low to mid 70s, 58 and rain. So I guess this is one of the first times we can say wish you were here.
But the flowers that come, they need water.
Well, Brett Gardner's getting ready to go against Cole Hamels. Gardner's had a nice spring so far, batting .281. No homers, a run batted in, and been working on some things on the base paths, but also been working on bunting, Kenny. He's laid down 3 bunts so far.
3 bunt base hits, and immediately Polanco at third comes in on the grass. Ryan Howard on alert over at first base. He's not as deep as he would be for a power hitter, left-handed hitter. The Phillies are aware. They saw Gardner in the World Series in the postseason. They know he can run.
Well, Hamels is ready to go against Gardner, and here we go from Clearwater. And he starts Gardner off with a strike. There's the curveball that he's been working on as well. Last year, Kenny, it was pretty much fastball, curveball, and everything, or fastball changeup rather. The curveball got away from him a little bit. You said he's developing that cutter, so he could be a different pitcher this year.
He could be. Hitters after a while, they catch on. You need to change up and make some adjustments.
And Gardner, the chopper to short. Rollins got a hustle because of the speed of Gardner, way offline. And again, that's the advantage of that speed of Gardner. Makes Rollins do things a little faster, and as a result, Gardner's aboard.
Yeah, Jimmy Rollins is a solid defender. I mean, he won the Gold Glove again last year. Only 6 errors. He's won his 3rd straight Gold Glove, but the pressure is on. Anytime that Gardner hits a ball slowly to the left side, the fielders know they're going to have to hustle. Here is Rollins charging, throwing on the run. It's offline. Howard can't handle it, and Gardner's going to be safe at first. They have not scored it as of yet. Sometimes they take into account the runner's speed, and they will award the base hit. At least if you're a hitter, that's what you're hoping for.
While we wait for the decision on that, Curtis Granderson is ready to go with Gardner leading off first. And first pitch swinging, gaps it out to left center field. That one is going to short hop in front of the warning track. Gardner with his speed getting waved home by Robbie Thompson. And just like that, just a few pitches in, the Yankees lead it 1-0.
Well, Bob, one thing they wanted Curtis Granderson to work on with the hitting coach Kevin Long was his average against left-handed pitchers, I should say. Didn't hit well against left-handers last year, around 180. And he gets one in the middle of the plate, and you called it. He gapped it. The only thing that kept this in the ballpark, I believe, is a wind blowing very steadily from left to right. But even so, Curtis Granderson has himself a run batted in and a two-base hit. The Yankees have themselves a 1-0 lead.
And now Mark Teixeira, a chance to drive Granderson in. Hamill starting him off with a strike. Texas had a good spring. I mentioned a couple of homers, batting over 300. We've made so much of his traditional slow starts, but he's off to a good spring so far.
Oh, by the way, that was scored an error on Jimmy Rollins. So that was E6 on the ball hit by Gardner.
And Hamill's missing, evens the count at 1-1.
Joe Girardi was a late arrival. He was over at the inter-squad game over at the Steinbrenner Field and wasn't on hand to hand out the lineups, but he made it finally.
Well, our Jack Curry was there as well. Watched Jabba Chamberlain pitch, the other pitcher, so he'll have a report for us a little later during this broadcast as Tex swings and fouls one away. You find it amazing that, you know, the two big controversies, if you will, in Yankees camp are the battle for the backup outfield spot and the battle for the fifth spot in the rotation?
Well, it seems kind of calm by ordinary situations with the Yankees, but you know, that will come into light as we move along towards the end of spring training.
And Teixeira dropping one into center field right in front of Jason Worth. And the Yankees continuing to touch Hamels here. Hard shot to short, a double to the gap by Granderson, and now Tex sets up runners at first and third.
Yeah, this is a bloop single, and Granderson had to hold at second to make sure that Worth was not going to make the play in center field. Ball is hit. You know, you read it, you get the third with one out, with nobody out, as opposed to maybe if there was, you know, certainly with two outs, be off with the crack of the bat. But the thing is, for Teixeira, he continues his good hitting. And the Yankees are still in business here. First and third, nobody out here in the first.
And now Nick Swisher batting cleanup today. And Nick's a guy that put in a lot of hard work in the offseason. Worked with Kevin Long on a variety of things, including quieting his hands, Kenny. Exactly what does that mean as he fouls one up behind the plate? And Sardina able to glove it for the first out here in the top half of the first.
Yeah, from his standpoint, he would say they were very quiet during that at bat. A pop up with a runner in scoring position. But what Swisher has done, he's widened his stance, number one. And quite as you don't see him moving the bat around quite as much. He's just one move and then straight to the baseball. And he's had himself a good spring. Swish right now on a 7-game hitting streak in spring training, and his batting average over 300 in the spring.
I should follow up the conversation of quiet hands with the fact that when he leaves a runner in scoring positions, usually not very quiet after that.
Exactly. At least you're speaking to yourself internally.
Yeah. Here's Francisco Cervelli getting the start at catcher today. Jorge Posada didn't make the trip, along with Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter, Robinson Cano. All had the day off, and with an off day tomorrow, Kenny, that gives the main guys a couple days off in a row.
You can see that the new helmet that Cervelli is wearing, a lot bigger than the normal helmet because of the concussions problems he had during the winter ball and a concussion earlier this spring when he was hit by a pitch. And wow, it is a little unique. I must say that, to say the least.
It does take a little getting used to, doesn't it?
It does, but they say that helmet that he's wearing could withstand a 100-mile-an-hour fastball without any incident to the batter.
Well, we saw David Wright of the Mets try it and then give up on it. And a hot shot to second base. Chase Utley onto Jimmy Rollins. On to first. And they've got the double play. So the Yankees get one on the board. They threaten with runners at first and third, but a double play erases that off the bat of Cervelli. So we head to the bottom of the first. Yankees on the board first, 1-0 here in Clearwater.
It's one of the best mid-sized sports sedans in the world. If it's not, there are over 50 international awards we'd bet.
Spring, so we'll see him for a while this afternoon. Then Phil Hughes is going to follow up, and Kenny, you got to wonder what's going through his mind right now.
Well, I think he knows the stakes are very high, and if he pitches well, it might be that puts him over the top as far as getting the 5th spot in the rotation right behind Javi Vasquez. And you know, he's pitched well to this point, and he just wants to continue what he's doing and not to put too much pressure on himself. As far as Burnett's concerned, he's had 4 innings in regular spring training games, so he's up here facing some good hitters.
Yeah, he's a little tired of the simulated stuff. Let's get to today's Philly starting lineup presented by BMW. Jimmy Rollins starts at short and leads off. Placido Polanco is at third. Chase Utley will play second. Ryan Howard cleans up at first base. Jason Worth is in center field. Raul Ibanez in left. Ben Francisco batting 7th is out in right field. Dane Sardina was a late replacement for Carlos Ruiz behind the plate, and then Cole Hamels is the pitcher. And Jimmy Rollins, as we know, Kenny, is an igniter and has bedeviled Yankees pitching, certainly in the postseason.
Yeah, he's sort of an unusual leadoff man. He doesn't take many pitches. There's the numbers on Burnett so far this spring. Only 2 starts.
And Jimmy Rollins deep to right center field, and the Yankees chasing that one. Nick Swisher trying to play it off the wall, but Granderson ultimately is the one who gets it, and just like that, Jimmy Rollins leads things off here with a double.
Well, I mentioned Rollins is not your typical leadoff hitter. He has some power for a little guy. He hit 21 home runs last year for the Phillies, and if he gets anything in the middle of the plate like that one, he's going to be hacking at it. And the wind is blowing to right, which leads me to believe he didn't get all of that one, but he gets it up against the wall and gets himself a 2-base hit. And this might be one of those games, Bob, where you're seeing runners going all around the bases.
Well, here's Placido Polanco, the third baseman now for the Philadelphia Phillies. And Burnett starts him off with a fastball swinging, strike 1.
And the Yankee fans, of course, remember Polanco from his days with the Detroit Tigers, and this guy is a perfect number 2 hitter. And you can see what he's done in spring training. He's making some friends with the Philadelphia Philly fans, hitting .379 for his new team. But he can hit the ball to all fields, makes contact, very difficult to strike out. Handles the bat well. You know, he and Jimmy Rollins are going to be quite a tandem at the top of the order for the Phillies.
You put up numbers like that, it warms the heart of any fan, doesn't it? One out to right field. Nick Swisher going to have to get after that one in a hurry, and that one just keeps flying. Kenny mentioned the wind blowing out to right field, and that is a classic example of what can happen here as Polanco knocks it out of the park. A 2-run homer, and the Phillies are up 2-1.
Well, Polanco did hit 10 home runs last year for the Tigers. But there is quite a breeze coming off the Gulf of Mexico, headed inland, and this is a result. Swisher going back, runs out of real estate, and you can see that the look at Burnett's reaction to this home run. What? It went out? You got to be kidding me.
I think if nothing else, he thought it would be kind of like Rollins' ball, stay in the park, maybe warning track, and that was it. Well, here's Chase Utley, and Burnett starts him off with a strike. At A.J. Burnett, and the cat-like quickness. He snares the line drive and gets Utley out.
Well, 3 balls hit hard, 1 out this inning, and this one right back at Burnett. That's why they give you a glove. Quick hand, saving a beauty. You go back to the bench, you yell out to the man, get out of the way. Good glove hand, quickness from A.J. Burnett, and there's one out.
Is that another reason why hitters don't like pitchers?
I was going to say, this is this part of the Phillies lineup where they have 4 straight hitters, including Utley, who hit over 30 home runs last year. The Phillies led the National League in home runs a year ago.
And Burnett up high. As far as top 4s go, where does this Phillies team rank in the majors, do you think?
They are up there. Only the Yankees hit more home runs than they did, and the Yankees in the American League. And the Yankees scored the most runs in the American League. The Phils scored the most runs in the National League.
And Brian Howard, everybody thinks him as a home run and pull hitter, but he is so good at going the opposite way. Does exactly that. A base hit to left center field. And the Phillies continue to hit the ball hard against A.J. Burnett.
Yeah, this is only a single, but Ryan Howard can hit home runs to all parts of the ballpark. He hit 45 of them last year. And he's one of the guys that you watch take batting practice before the game, and he puts the weighted donut on his bat for the first round. Phillies offense, 4th in runs. This is the major leagues. There's the average, but they do hit homers.
Here's Jason Worth, gets up just to finish the point on Howard. When he did that, Ken, and you notice this, everything he was hitting with the donut on was out to left and left center.
It's like he was working on something. But one thing you do get with these 4 Philly hitters that all hit over 30 home runs, they strike out a lot. All of them struck out over 100 times, including Jason Worth with 36 home runs last year. So they've got power, but if you pitch to them carefully, you can get them.
We just saw one of the first breaking balls this afternoon from A.J. Burnett, facing Jason Worth, who we've seen it before and we've talked about it before, has the unique facial hair, the different look. Who is that masked man? Well, the Phillies hope it's the same guy that hit like Jason Worth did last year, because he did a terrific job. Swings through a fastball and misses. 2-2.
And Worth is also a good defender. Today he's playing center field. You mentioned the illness of Shane Victorino, yet another Gold Glover and a good hitter for the Phillies. But Worth moves over from his customary spot in right field to play center field today.
A.J. looking for that spot outside and just misses outside part of the plate. It counts full.
World Series rematch for Joe Girardi and the Yankees this afternoon.
Just about that same spot, Worth decides to swing at it, fouls it away.
Yeah, that had the corner. It's a good thing he spoiled it and fouled it off. When you look around the ballpark, there aren't many seats to be had. I mean, a lot of standing room out in right field. Those are not seats beyond the walls in right and left center field. That's a berm. So there's actually grass there somewhere. You can see little patches of it. But that grass is covered up quite handily this afternoon.
And Worth draws a walk.
Batting 6, number 29, Raul Ibanez.
Well, just 15 pitches so far for A.J. Burnett. Feels a little more than that, doesn't it, the way he's had to work?
Well, he's only got one out. That Phillies jumping on the first pitch for the base hits, but it was Jason Worth who had the lengthy at-bat.
Well, this is Raul Ibanez. And Burnett just missing outside.
I was talking to Raul before the game. He grew up in the Miami area, although he was born in Manhattan. Grew up in Miami. And he came over his first experience in the National League last year. Had a good year for the Phillies. They signed him as a free agent. They let Pat Burrell go. Pat Burrell went to Tampa Bay. And Ibanez had a great season, at least in the first half. He was injured in the second half. And made the All-Star team. Ended up hitting 34 homers, drove in 93 runs. And I think he's been one of the more underrated hitters in baseball. Those are some pretty solid numbers the last few years. And now he's fit in nicely with these Philadelphia Phillies and helped them become National League champions last year. I was talking to him before the game, and he said he grew up in Miami. And actually, when he was a youngster, One of the teachers took their class to a spring training game, and I was training with the Orioles in Miami, and he said that Ibanez said that he got Jim Palmer's autograph and my autograph on the same day, and I said, at least you got one Hall of Famer out of that.
Does he still have the autograph for the ball?
You know what? I didn't ask him, but that's not the first time that's happened. It's about the fourth time that a player's come up to me and said I had signed an autograph for them when they were a youngster. So you never know who you're signing for, Bob.
That's right. Well, Ibanez fouls one away over our heads and counts 2-1.
Phil Nevin was another player that was growing up in California. He said he got, and Mark Wohlers growing up in Boston. He said he came to Fenway Park and got my autograph, and he said it's the only one he ever got.
That one gets away. And he's been around the plate all afternoon, but that one slipped out of his hand. Needless to say, the runners advance on that one.
And needless to say, this is a wild pitch. Looked like a breaking ball that he just somehow got away.
Well, look at his reaction.
Well,
he knew it, too.
He's looking behind him as if you'd thrown it behind him. Wow. So Girardi's thinking, hey, what the heck's going on?
And the 3-1 inside, so a couple walks here, and the Phillies have the bases loaded.
Yeah, this is the A.J. Burnett that sometimes shows up on the mound. He can be a little wild. Remember, he led the American League in base on balls last year, but he is difficult to hit. That's the thing about it. You know, he could get himself in trouble, and he could also get himself out of it by striking people out.
And that's, isn't it, Kenny, where he takes the next step, is if he can get those pitches just on the outside part of the plate, over the corner, maybe a little more movement on his fastball, that he can move from that 13-game winner he was last year, maybe up to a 17-18 game winner.
Yeah, they're trying to settle him down right now. Francisco Cervelli and Dave Island, the pitching coach, out to the mound.
Well, that brings up Ben Francisco, playing right field today for the Phillies. And a good opportunity for him with the bases loaded here, bottom of the first. Burnett starts him with a strike.
Francisco is, I guess you can classify him as a fourth outfielder with the Phillies. They have some solid outfielders. He came over with Cliff Lee in the trade from Cleveland last year.
And a breaking ball, and fouls it away. And for them, it didn't really turn out to be kind of an add-on piece. It was, he played some nice outfield for him, had some good at-bats.
Yeah, he's got some upside. He's a young enough player that there's still some things he can learn and improve his overall game. But you wonder how much of an opportunity he's going to get in Philadelphia.
And an 0-2 breaking ball just misses, 1-2.
With Victorino and Worth and Ibanez, it sounds like he's going to play a few day games after night games. There's Charlie Manuel. Done a great job with the Phillies.
Francisco fouling one along the first base side, right down the line. Teixeira, and that's Nunez converging, and Nunez able to call Teixeira off and catch it for the second out here in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, with that wind blowing, it's going to create havoc for anything hit towards right field, including the pop-ups. Nunez started out, looked like he was running straight towards the foul line. Then he had to drift back with the wind catching a hold of it. Tough play for Teixeira. The angle wasn't there for him. It's up to the second baseman Nunez to make the play, and he does.
And Ryan Howard on third. Once he sees him glove it, wasn't going anywhere. So 2 outs here, still the bases loaded, and Dane Sardina. Yankees fans know the last name. His brother Bronson was in the Yankee system for a while. First pitch swinging out towards Nick Swisher and over the head of Nick Swisher onto the warning track, and it'll bounce high. That will allow 3 runners to score. The throw home, Teixeira cuts it off, and Sardina knocks in 3 runs as the Phillies now lead it 5-1.
Up picking on the first pitch, and let's see, the target is low and away, and a pitch kind of drifts up over the outer third of the plate, and Sardina not wasting any time. and he runs it over the head of Swisher in right field, and with 2 outs, the runners are off and running. Nick has to recover, gets the ball in fairly quickly, but 3 more runs for the Philadelphia Phillies.
Worth and Ibanez racing around to score behind Ryan Howard. Now this is the pitcher Cole Hamels, who has a nice 4-run lead now as he comes to the plate. We saw his average 163. He looks like a hitter up there, though, Kenny.
Well, 163 is pretty good. I think anytime a pitcher gets over 150, you know, under 150, it's almost as if they don't even have a bat. But you get over 150. You can be a threat.
And a swing and a miss evens the count at 2-2, and you can sense with the body language certainly some frustration from A.J. Burnett in this inning. And a swing and a miss, and that will do it. But A.J. Burnett has a rough first inning here against the Philadelphia Phillies. They score 5 runs and lead it 5-1 as we head to the top of the second.
When we built our first hybrid, YouTube didn't exist, and Facebook was still run out of a dorm room. When we built our first hybrid, more people had landline.
As we get set to go here in the top half of the second, let's take a look at the American Airlines upcoming schedule. Well, there's a couple games coming up against the Detroit Tigers Saturday and Sunday. That Saturday game in Lakeland is one we have added to our yes schedule because we've had a couple rainouts. Want to get some more reps in the cage, if you will, so we'll be there in Lakeland. Also Sunday back home against the Tigers, and then March 30th and 31st, the Blue Jays and the Minnesota Twins. And the Twins making news yesterday by signing their all-star catcher Joe Mauer to a mega deal.
Well, I think you see the effects of a new stadium, Target Field in Minnesota, right away. They're projecting their revenues for the next few years, and Joe Mauer's going to get part of it.
He will. He's not getting it in real estate.
184 million over 8 years.
Yep.
That's a pretty high real estate neighborhood, if you ask me.
Well, you know, Twins and their fans are happy. They're
Yeah.
keeping him there. He has a no trade, full no trade, so he wants to stay there, play there, and it's going to happen.
Well, he grew up in the area. He grew up in St. Paul, Minnesota. I mean, he's a native guy. That's the type of player. He's won the batting title 3 times, MVP last year. That's the type of player you want to keep if you can.
Well, here's Ramiro Pena, second inning for Cole Hamels. Hamels gave up a run in the top half of the first, but then his teammates got him 5 back, so he leads it here 5-1.
Yeah, neither pitcher really distinguished themselves in the first innings, but Hamels is the one with the smile. He's got a 4-run lead at this point.
Number 77, Hall of Fame, Jim Harper, Baltimore Colts.
And misses again. And you mentioned in a scouting report less pressure because Roy Halladay is around. But he also is a guy who can handle pressure because we saw that in the 2008 season when he was terrific and became World Series MVP.
The World Series MVP, was an all-star that year. Last year, this is the 2009 season.
And Pena fouling it away. That'll get into the stands.
Last season was the first season that Hamels actually was sub 500 for the Phillies, 10 and 11, and just couldn't bring his A game for whatever reason. There's his manager, Charlie Manuel, who's done, I mentioned he's done such a great job with the Philadelphia Phillies. Charlie's been a manager not only in Philadelphia but for 7 seasons in the major leagues. His teams have never won fewer than 85 games in a year. So, and 90, they've won from 90 or more 4 times.
And Pena fouls it again now in the National League East this year with the lineup they have and the fact that they have Roy Halladay. Can they top the century mark?
Ooh, there's the possibility there. I think a lot depends on Hamels. If he can come around and pitch like he did 2 years ago, I think they got a chance because Halladay's the type of pitcher you might want to pencil in 20 wins.
And Pena puts one out into right field, leads off things here in the top of the second with a base hit.
Batting seventh, number 77, Kevin Russo, third base.
You know, What is it, Ken, from a hitter's perspective? They said last year for Cole Hamels, he pretty much was just relying because he didn't have his secondary pitch. It's just fastball, changeup, which are very good pitches for him. But if you're a hitter and you know up there just one of those two is coming, what's your perspective?
All you have to do is differentiate the speed. And sometimes pitchers give away their changeups. They're not really fine with them. In other words, they slow their arms down. You could see it. So if it's going to be one of two pitches, you pretty much are pretty set because they're both pretty direct type pitches. Sometimes change up a fade away, but they're pretty direct. So he was more hittable last year, definitely, than he was the previous season.
Ramiro Pena on first. This is Kevin Russo fouling one away. Russo gets the start at third base today. Not all the starters came. The outfield did, but the infield, some of the guys getting the day off. Jeter, A-Rod, Cano. Nick Johnson didn't make the trip either.
Russo's having himself a good spring. He's hitting .368, and he was a .300 hitter last year at AAA. I like the way this young man swings the bat. Very quiet approach at the plate.
And deep and out to left field. Ibanez will chase it and glove it. About 2 steps on the warning track, and that'll chase Pena back to first. Hurries things up a bit, and was a noisy fly ball out for Kevin Russo.
He picked on the wrong part of the ballpark. Remember, we said the wind is blowing towards right field. This one got knocked down going to left field. I still don't think he hit it as well as he could have, but he just missed getting it out of here. And Ibanez on the move. And remember, the wind is blowing this back towards Ibanez. I believe that would have been out of here on a less windy day, and certainly if the wind was blowing to left field. Russo, of all the young hitters in the camp, he's the one I've had my eye on. He's really swinging the bat well.
Well, that brings up Eduardo Nunez, getting the start at second today.
Nunez had a good year last year at AA Trenton. He hit .322. So you probably expect him to be playing at AAA this year.
And Pena's on the move, and he's in there safely.
So Sardina cannot throw out Pena, who last year at AAA and the big league level stole 9 bases, was only caught twice.
And Hamels misses away on 0-2. You know, Pena, second half of last season, they sent him back down to be that super utility player. Do you think he got enough reps in the outfield that he could be that guy?
You know, I forgot to ask him this spring, but he did play some games in the outfield.
And Nunez lifting one out to center field. You see Worth tracking it. Pena will tag, but he's not going anywhere. So 2 outs here, top of the second.
You saw the effects of the wind on that fly ball to center field. It looked like it's going to be towards the gap in left center, and the wind brings it over almost straightaway center field. Here's something you don't see very often.
Not since his Marlins days, A.J. Burnett.
I'm impressed. 3 home runs.
I thought Hamels was going to go have a conversation about how to pitch him. He just wants a new baseball. Well, AJ, if last half inning is any indication, might be swinging with a little anger here. We'll see.
You know what the instructions might be? Now remember, the Yankee pitchers probably have not swung the bat all spring. And the last thing that Joe Girardi wants is something to happen to oblique muscle, turning the body with any ferocity whatsoever. Let's see if he is actually up there to swing the bat or not. It looks to me like he's just up here taking pitches. And that might apply to every single Yankee pitcher today. You know, maybe in a bunt situation you might have him bunt, but maybe not even then. And I don't think he's swinging the bat today. Even Hamels could lay it right down the middle, which, you know, you would take a chance anyway. Now he's behind on the count.
Well, I don't know, Kenny. Don't sell him short. It looks like he has a hitter's eye up there.
Well, he's ahead on the count. Let's put it that way.
I knew you'd love hearing that if I said it.
Now, if he's not swinging at that pitch, he's not swinging at any of them. That was right there.
All right, so best guess 2-2. A pitcher to a pitcher. He's getting a fastball.
Another one.
So if he doesn't swing, it's exactly what you're saying.
See?
There you go. And that will do it for Hamels. It looked good. In the end, no results. Pena left at second, and we head to the bottom of the second.
The 2009 New York.
Today in Tampa, Jabba Chamberlain pitched in an intra-squad game, and these were his numbers. 5 innings of 6-hit baseball. He allowed 2 runs and struck out 1. And shortly afterwards, he talked to our Jack Curry about it.
We're here in Tampa with Jabba Chamberlain, where he just pitched an inter-squad game, 5 strong innings. Jabba, it was a little different atmosphere, an empty ballpark, only reporters and some Yankee execs watching you. How did you feel about your performance today?
I felt great. I mean, we had quality guys up there. You know, Marcus, Randy, and all the young guys putting up great at bats. And you know, Austin was tremendous behind the plate. You know, that relationship that we built with him was tremendous, and he did a great job. And you know, go out and attack the zone, and you know, just back to having fun.
You seemed really excited about the way your changeup moved today. You threw 5 or 6 nice ones. How did that pitch work for you?
It worked great. You know, to be able to see some check swings and some double plays off it, and a couple swing and misses was good to see. And you know, attacked with my fastball and threw my off speed for a strike. And you know, just continue to build off this, and you know, take it back to the board on Wednesday and get after it again and see what we can do better.
I know you're a candidate and not the evaluator, but everybody wants to know the number 5 starting position. How do you think you helped yourself today with this performance?
You know what? It's just one of those things where you got to go out and you know, not worry about it. And you know, these other guys are throwing the baseball well, and you can't really worry about what they're doing. I mean, those guys are competitors, and they're gonna compete their tail off. And to know you just got to go out there and pitch your game and understand what you have to do to be successful and to try to help this team win.
It seems like you and Phil have both taken that kind of an attitude. If the spring ends and you're not the 5th starter, would you consider that a disappointment?
No, you know what? Because hopefully I have the opportunity to help this team in another way. And, you know, I'm just going to go out and continue to work hard no matter what the situation is. And like I said, we got so many guys that can fill that role. And, you know, just to be considered as one of them is an honor. And you got to go out there and prove yourself and know that there's a lot of things you have to work on, but just go out and continue to throw the ball well and just take care of everything that you need to do.
You mentioned off camera before that you felt like you were pitching in a Florida State League game. For people who have never been to a Florida State League game, what does that mean? What is that like?
You know, it's great. You know, it's where it started for me. And you know, we get 90, 100 people in the stands, but you know, that's where it all started for me. And you know, I kind of enjoyed that to look back, and this is where it all started for me in '07, and to know I had the opportunity to, you know, to go out and help my cause to be the 5th starter and help this team win was pretty something special for me.
Jabba, thanks for the time.
Thanks.
All right, Jack, thank you. Jabba added a little intrigue to the 5th starter position today, Ken.
Well, he said the fact that he wouldn't be disappointed, help the team in another way if he doesn't get the job. I thought it was interesting. He said it's where it started for him in the Florida State League. That's where it started for me, too, in the Florida State League, way before Jabba, though. But the fact is that you don't have the bigger crowds as you have in the spring training games here. Look at today. I mean, look at the crowd here today. You can't get many more people in here. So he had to create his own atmosphere, if you will, while he pitched today. And I think Jabba's numbers this spring are somewhat skewed. The first couple of times out, he was battling to get him coming back from a flu, and that's when he really got hammered, those first couple of times out.
Well, pitching coach Dave Island, who we just saw, will be part of that decision-making process in terms of who gets that 5th starter position. You know, and it's not as if it's you know, one guy loses the competition. If a Phil Hughes or a Jabba Chamberlain can come in and help you in the 8th inning and lock down that, make it a 7-inning game, that's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, it's about the Yankees being winners overall. They make the team stronger. 5th spot and the bullpen.
Well, Placido Polanco homered his first time up. This is a hot shot to Kevin Russo at 3rd, on to Tech's 2nd out here in the bottom half of the 2nd inning.
Yeah, not only can Russo hit, he can play a little defense, and made that look very tough in between hop. He handled that one nicely, showed a strong arm. This guy can not only hit, he can play 2nd, 3rd base. And now the throw. 2 parts to every play for the infielder. First catching it and then throwing it. Kevin Russo grew up in Colorado. Was born on Long Island, though.
We talked about how quiet and smooth he is at the plate, and same way in the field there, waited for that ball to come to him. It wasn't too jumpy. 2 outs here, Chase Utley. Hot shot right back to A.J. Burnett in his first at bat.
Burnett's trying to have a much stronger 2nd inning.
He gave up 5 in the bottom of the first and looked a little unsettled, but he has settled down here, although both balls have been hit pretty hard. The first one off the bat of Jimmy Rollins to Mark Teixeira. He took that to the bag by himself, and then the ground ball to Russo. And A.J. misses away, 2-1. And just missing up high, 3-1.
Anytime you got this, I guess you could call them the Fab Four, Nutley, Howard, Worth, and Ibanez, all with 30 or more home runs. Anytime you fall behind in the count, you know they're trying to load up.
And A.J. just misses away and issues his 3rd walk of the game. Let's check out the Yankees defensive alignment, brought to you by the Home Depot, doing more on defense. And from left to right in the outfield, Gardner, Granderson, and Swisher. Around the infield, it's Russo, Pena, Eduardo Nunez, and Mark Teixeira at first. Behind the plate, Francisco Cervelli, and again on the hill, A.J. Burnett. And this, with Ryan Howard coming up to the plate, is kind of what we've come to expect from A.J. and where he needs to take that next step, Ken. He gets the first 2 outs and then issues a walk, and a walk, as you know, can get you in quick trouble. Especially with Ryan Howard swinging the way he does, driving one out to left, but again, the wind holding that ball up, and Gardner gloves it for the final out. 1 walk for A.J. Burnett, but no further damage, and we head to the top of the 3rd. Phillies 5-1.
Honda Accord and Toyota Camry stand behind their powertrain.
Well, that could be Jabba Chamberlain sitting in the stands. It's not. It's maybe a hybrid of him and a couple other guys. As we welcome you back to Bright House Field. Hey, fans, come home to Yankee Stadium in 2010 to see the 27-time world champion New York Yankees in action. Saturday, April 17th and Sunday, April 18th is calendar weekend when the Yankees take on the Rangers. All fans in attendance at either game will receive a Yankees calendar courtesy of Subway. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Well, it is March Madness, Kenny. Sorry about the Maryland Terps.
Yeah, boy.
Thought they had it right down to the wire. Meantime, Kentucky.
How can they leave that guy so
represented
open
here? Don't let it haunt you too long. 5-1 here. Phillies lead it as we head to the top half of the 3rd, and the top of the lineup for the Yankees: Brett Gardner, Curtis Granderson, and Mark Teixeira, and Granderson scores to bunt. As they were in his first at bat, the corners on the alert. Rollins and Howard both in.
Second time today that Hamels has thrown a ball out of play. Wants a new one. You know, sometimes you get a ball from pitcher's seams don't feel right, or they feel too low, or the ball feels too big in your hands.
And inside, and Gardner takes it. 2-0.
Pitcher's hands, as you might expect, very sensitive to the feel of the baseball.
And a strike, 2-1. Gardner's MO changed a little in the offseason. He was saying that at times maybe he was too patient, trying to do too much, thought he'd be a little more aggressive. And if nothing else, I guess that if pitchers don't know which kind of hitter you're going to be, it probably helps you, right?
Well, one thing, I thought he was too patient last year, and a lot of times he was taking. All of a sudden, he had 2 strikes and hadn't swung the bat yet. And sometimes you kind of paint yourself into a corner. Right now, he's up there with a 3-1 count.
And swinging and hit hard into right field, but right at Ben Francisco. Just moves a couple steps to his right. 1 out here, top of the 3rd.
Yeah, I know he's kind of disappointed, but he does hit this one on the nose to right field. And this is the way you're supposed to hit a pitch on 3-1. Line drive to right, almost directly at the right fielder, Francisco. And even though he's made an out, you know, if he sits down next to Kevin Long's going to say that was a good at bat. Hit the ball hard. They're not going to catch them all.
Well, now Curtis Granderson doubled in his first at bat. Drove in Brett Gardner. That was in the top half of the first.
Spring training average on the move up to 250. He was down in the interstates for a while.
Now Gardner, you mentioned him batting against lefties. Got to hang in there a little more against lefties. Is that right?
Yeah, both Gardner and Granderson. Same thing applies. The difference is the count's even on Granderson here, 1-1. All right, now he's ahead on the count. See, the count is, from a hitter standpoint, it's what the pitcher's going to throw and where is he going to throw it. That's what he hit last year against left-handers. They want that to improve. When a pitcher makes a mistake in the middle of the plate, usually that's very hittable. Doesn't matter what he throws if it's in the middle of. But if he starts hitting corners, that's when a hitter has to be a little more particular. Is it going to be a fastball, a slider, and then you go after it accordingly. You take educated guesses while you're at the plate.
And hit to the right side. Ryan Howard flips on to Hamels. Hamels got to hustle to get Granderson, but does for the second out.
Well, with a left-handed pitcher on the mound, sometimes you fall off to the third base side, and that creates more of a race to the first base bag. Granderson has pretty good speed. You can see Hamels does the complete turnaround and beats him by a step over the bag at first. Nice play by the pitcher.
And Mark Teixeira singled in his first time up at the plate. And you see Hamels working on some of those off-speed pitches. He said he's trying to develop that cutter. Have you seen it much today?
No, not yet. You know, that's it. It's just something he can add to his arsenal.
And Teixeira gets a hold of that one. Deep out to left field and short hopping the wall. So Teixeira will race into second base. He's aboard with a 2-out double.
You know, that might have been it. He's got to work on it a little more. And once again, the wind keeps this ball in the ballpark. Yep, that was a cutter, but it was up and in the middle of the plate, and Teixeira got pretty good wood on it, but he couldn't buck the wind, couldn't get it out of here. Classic swing. And watch the Hamels' reaction after this ball is hit. He thinks he's not getting it back. Yep. That had the sound, but he had Mother Nature on his side.
Well, that was that swing that we saw. Teixeira hitting balls out of the park last year, so you're right, the wind really having an effect there. Nick Swisher now up, and he popped up behind the plate his first time up. Another chance to knock a runner in. We'll see if he can capitalize this time here with 2 outs in the top half of the third.
You see Teixeira at the bottom of your screen. One thing he has done that no other switch hitter has done. Through the first 7 years of his career, he's hit 242 home runs. That is more than any other switch hitter. Second on that list is Mickey Mantle, hit 207 through his first 7 seasons.
Swisher trying to dump one into center field. Jason Worth on it, but can't glove it. Teixeira running on 2 outs, and he is in, and it's 5-2 Yankees. Or 5-2 Phillies, rather.
Well, Swisher will take it. Swisher's going to take this. You can see Worth on his move, and once again, well, it looked like he didn't have his glove open. Looked like the glove was kind of closed, and the ball breaks off of his glove. Yeah, he'll take it. Single, RBI. Yankees creep a little closer. And Swisher's good spring continues. He now has an 8-game hitting streak.
Well, Francisco Cervelli, as we mentioned, is at a terrific spring as well. Takes an off-speed pitch there, batting .471 coming into this game. He did ground into a double play to end the first. But that's what you like to see in your backup catcher. You don't have to worry about Jorge Posada. You know he's going to hit. You want your backup to be able to do it as well, and Cervelli's showing him that.
I think Cervelli was a very pleasant surprise for the Yankees last season. Both when Posada and Molina were injured, Jose Molina was injured. They call up Cervelli thinking that he could catch. There's no doubt about his ability to receive the ball, call a good game. But while with the Yankees last year, he hit .298. And this was somebody, when he was at Double-A prior to being called up, he was hitting .190. And that does work sometimes for hitters because the pitchers are more consistent at the big league level. They're more around the plate with their pitches. They aren't quite as wild. And some hitters will tell you the higher you move up the ladder, the easier it is to actually hit.
Do you think he benefited from the fact that nobody expected big things from him offensively? Maybe there was a little pressure off of him?
You mean from that ninth in the order? Sometimes the other team's not looking at who's this guy? Never heard of him. Let's just throw it over. Don't walk it.
And I don't think batting a buck and change at Double-A, you think you're going to come up and hit close to 300. So maybe you surprise him a little bit, and he did.
He got some big hits, too. He had a big home. His first Major League home run in Atlanta. That was a big hit during a game.
Fouling one away and out. I think my enduring image of him is when he had the game-winning single, and as he touched first base, rounded first, and ran out, started to run out to right field. He wanted to avoid contact from his teammates.
Well, you know what? He was looking for the pie. He knew it was coming.
The Swisher's on first, 2 outs here in the top half of the third. And Cervelli on 1-2 gets a breaking ball that just misses.
Kevin Long, one of the hardest working batting coaches. He is one of the better batting coaches. Not only that, he works all year. You know, it used to be just during the season, but now he has hitters going to visit him where he lives in Arizona.
Cervelli, a swing and a miss as Hamels took something off that one. But the Yankees get a run here in the top half of the third, and we head to the bottom half. They've got one back. It's 5-2. By your Tri-State Volkswagen dealers. Visit tristatevw.com and by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. That is good eating.
Ballpark fare.
Is that part of your diet anymore, Tim?
There's got to be some salad.
What if we throw some slaw on top? Will you eat it?
Sauerkraut.
All right, here we go. It's been a tale of 2 innings so far for A.J. Burnett. He's out for his third and facing Jason Worth to lead things off here bottom of the third. Now, A.J. first inning, 30 pitches. He gave up 5 runs, 4 hits, walked a couple. His second inning of work, 2 quick outs. Walked a batter, then got the final batter to fly out to left field. So it's sort of, who are we going to see in this inning? Is he going to follow up the second inning with a solid third? You know, this is a guy who's a big question mark for the Phillies after this season. Jason Worth will be a free agent. Will command some dollars, and the Phillies have got to decide what are they going to do.
You know, interesting situation between these two, A.J. Burnett and Jason Worth. A few years back, when Worth was with the Dodgers, A.J. Burnett hit him with a pitch and fractured his wrist, and he wasn't right for 2 years. And hitters have long memories as to who was thrown. Maybe he wasn't thrown, just pitch got away, but still, he wasn't right for 2 years after being hit by an A.J. Burnett pitch.
But look at the numbers that we saw, Kenny. He has, Burnett, kind of a controlled wildness, if you will. Led the American League with wild pitches last year with 17. If you're a hitter up there and you're standing in against him, that's got to be in the back of your mind, the way he pitches.
You're not he's not a comfortable at bat. Let's put it that way. Throws very hard, sharp breaking ball.
And there's that breaking ball lifted out into right field. Nick Swisher was giving it a look, but decided to put the brakes on, and Worth is aboard with a base hit.
Worth kind of punched that one out to right field, and kind of a, wouldn't call it an excuse me swing, but certainly not his A swing. Originally started out as a catcher in the Baltimore Orioles organization, #1 draft pick.
Well, here's Raul Ibanez, one of the 3 walks issued by A.J. Burnett. That came in the first. He would later score. And worth thinking about breaking as the ball gets away from Cervelli, but he stayed put.
Yeah, there's an example of Cervelli's ability behind home plate to keep the ball in front of him. And this is on pitch number 50. And appeared to be a changeup in the dirt. No advance by the runner. You know, we talk about the Phillies' power. They also have very good team speed. As big as Worth is at first base, this guy stole 20 bases last year and was only caught 3 times. There's Davey Lopes, who is the first base coach, who was a great base stealer, over 500 steals in his career. And he has these Phillies reading pitchers' moves. And they not only steal, they steal for a great percentage. When they go, they usually make it. For example, Chase Utley, 23 steals last year, was not caught. And Davey Lopes knows when you go, there's a reason. You want to be at second base.
Well, apparently Utley was listening to his advice very much. It paid off 100%.
And you got Rollins, who stole 31 bases in 39 attempts. Everybody talks about the Phillies and their home run power. They've got more than that for their offense.
And grounded to second. We'll see if this is a double play. Nunez to Pena, the quick flip on to first, but not in time to get Ibanez.
Tough play for the turn and double play when the ball is hit to the left of the second baseman. Takes him away from the bag. Accurate throw. Pena could not come across the bag and get much on the throw, or they might have gotten a double play, but nice play started by the second baseman, Eduardo Nunez.
1 out now, bottom of the third. Ben Francisco at the plate.
Yeah, it's interesting. You got Pena at short, Nunez at second. They're both shortstops by trade. And both can play second, and both can play third.
I mean, for young players like that, we saw it with Pena last year, that just increases your value, right, to an organization.
Most definitely. Look out.
And A.J. Burnett up and into Francisco, and he's got a free pass to first.
Well, this one gets away, and the target is inside, so you can see what he's trying to do, but the ball gets away. Ooh.
Right on the shoulder blade.
Man. That was Bam Cisco.
Well, as Dane Sardinia comes up now, the 8th hitter in the order. You know, we talked about A.J., the 4 innings. He's had the simulated games. How much is that a setback for him, do you think?
You mean the fact that he got rained out a few times and, you know, hasn't really gotten all that many innings in? I think to be sharp, pitchers have to get on a routine. And he's been thrown out of his rhythm by the rainouts. Even yesterday, I mean, he was all pumped up to pitch yesterday. He get rained out now. He has to come back another day, wait 24 hours. That's one more day of rest. And sometimes that can affect pitchers.
Well, to draw a comparison, CC Sabathia has logged 14 innings so far this spring, and AJ has just 4 against live batters. So, well, I guess the ones in the simulated game were live too. They just weren't as live as these guys.
Exactly, but you know, it's a whole different atmosphere. Pitching in front of a crowd, and this is you know, the Yankees are on the road. It's a predominantly Philadelphia Philly crowd, although there's where the Yankees go, there are quite a few Yankee fans. But the Phillies have turned themselves into one of the best franchises in all of baseball.
And a nice breaking ball there to Sardina.
Yeah, if the Phillies go to the World Series again this year, they'll be the first National League team to go to the World Series 3 straight years since the St. Louis Cardinals back 1942 through 44. And the Phillies set an all-time attendance record last year, and they've already sold, I think I heard 3 million tickets already. And so they've got a chance to break that record again this year. Charlie Manuel's done a tremendous job. We mentioned it earlier as manager of this team. He's a no-nonsense guy. I mean, if you start fooling around, he'll let you know about it. And everybody has toed the line and played some pretty solid baseball. He says he's got a good group of baseball players.
Good breaking ball outside there by Burnett. Sardina goes down on strikes.
It wasn't too long ago when, you know, it was hard to get people into the vet in Philadelphia. There's a swing and a miss. Well, now at the beautiful Citizens Bank ballpark, good breaking ball from Burnett, picks up the strikeout. And, you know, John Kruk, a former Philly, threw out the first pitch today. As Hamels takes a swing and fouls it back. And I said, you know, these spring training facilities now are better than the ballparks used to be during the regular season in the big leagues.
Well, you could certainly make the case that this is a much nicer park than the vet was.
Well, not saying much, Bob. There's certainly Connie Mack Stadium. That was the stadium before the vet in Philadelphia.
Boy, that artificial turf at the vet was like worn out carpet that you saw on the back patio.
Artificial rock. And not only that, when it got hot, you could hardly stand on it out in the outfield.
That was pitch number 60 for A.J. Burnett. And throws a strike across to Hamels, 1-2.
That might be some of that turf from the old vet.
And Hamels lifting one to short. Ramiro Pena's got it. And that will do it here in the bottom half of the third as the Phillies get a couple aboard, but nothing more against A.J. Burnett.
In every friendly little competition, there's a winner and a loser. A runner-up, second best, the one who fell a bit short.
Thank you.
Our friends at BMW know exactly how this feels. Experience our winning lineup at your local Audi dealer today.
Enjoy the most college hoops in the nation from ESPN Full Court on DirecTV. Key matchups from college basketball's top conferences with up to 30 games every week from outside your local area. Order the half-season package now and pay only $79 for the rest of the season. Call 1-800-GET-SPORTS or visit directv.com/fullcourt. ESPN Full Court on DirecTV.
Millionaire Theater presents.
As soon as our sister returns with the newt's toes, our love potion will be complete.
Your plot to cast a spell on me won't work. I'll never fall in love and marry one of you, sisters.
Sisters, I just won $1 million, and I spent it all on cosmetic surgery.
Hoochie mama, look at those ankles.
Become a March millionaire. Play $1 Million Match or one of many New York Lottery instant games offering $1 million or more.
Class, pass us forward.
See what happens when kids go to school with the flu? They can easily pass their germs to everyone in the classroom. To keep them healthy, make sure kids get the seasonal flu vaccine right now and novel H1N1 vaccine when it's available. If they're sick, keep them home and teach them to wash their hands often or use hand sanitizer to reduce the spread of germs. A message from your state and local health departments to know what to do about the flu.
Well, Thursday night, catch the first of 3 new Yankees classics, revisiting last year's postseason clinchers, starting with Andy Pettit's ALDS win over the Twins. 2 stellar pitching performances and a pair of epic home runs highlight this final game at the Metrodome. See it all over again on a new Yankees classics Thursday night at 7, only on Yes. As we take a look at the Audi scoreboard heading to the top of the 4th, a pretty busy afternoon for the offense. 2 runs on 5 hits for the Yankees, 5 runs on 5 hits, and an error for the Phillies.
Oh, I was in Minnesota that night. The Yankees clinched the ALDS and the home runs by A-Rod and Jorge Posada. What a night.
Well, Cole Hamels will start things off against Ramiro Pena. We've discussed the importance of Hamels being that great number 2 complement to Roy Halladay. And when we were talking about it last inning, we talked about the offenses for these teams. And it's really a matter, for the Yankees and Phillies of just staying healthy. And if you do that and play ball the way you're supposed to, why not? Why could there not be a rematch in the World Series?
Yeah, talking to the Phillies around the cage before the game.
Pena shoots one to the gap in right center field. And That one is going to be extra bases as he rounds, and Worth has problems with it, so Pena wants 3. The question is, will he get it? And the answer is yes. Worth having problems with the ball, chatting about it with Ben Francisco out there, and Pena standing on third.
Ramiro Pena turned himself into a nice little player. Remember, we were talking about the fact he's a solid shortstop. He's not going to play much short in New York with Derek Jeter aboard, but there are other teams here, a lot of scouts here in attendance, and just watching him swing the bat, he's a switch hitter with a solid glove at short, and he's going to have himself a 3-base hit. Worth went down to pick it up, but didn't bend down far enough, and there is Pena. He didn't even need to slide into third. He could have kept that uniform clean, but he'll take the 3-base hit.
And Kevin Russo trying to get him in, slices one foul along the first base side. Ryan Howard giving it a look, so is Francisco, but it'll drop for a foul ball.
Yeah, I was talking to the Phillies during their batting practice session behind, and I was behind the cage, and to a man, they want another shot at the Yankees. And to me, at this point in the season, you know, it's a long way between now and October, but they do have a very solid baseball team, as do the Yankees, and it wouldn't surprise me if you do see a rematch come late October. There's stars all over the rosters of both of these teams.
And much as we talk about the Yankees really having no holes in their lineup, you could make the argument that the Phillies are the same way. 1 through 8, and then the pitcher's position.
Now here's an opportunity for young Mr. Russo. I was talking about how good a hitter he's been this spring. He hit a long fly ball out his first time up. If it wasn't for the wind, he would have had himself a home run. But here's a chance, runner at third, chance to drive it and run. You don't even have to get yourself a hit.
But it looks like he will get himself one, and that'll be for extra bases as well. He takes a little something off that one, drops it into left field, and has an RBI double.
Like I said, I've been impressed with this young man all spring long and his approach, swinging the bat. I've talked to Stick Michael, who's one of the Yankees' top scouts, and talked to him and several of the people in the Yankee front office about Kevin Russo and some of the coaches, and Kevin Long. Been impressed with him. Very quiet approach, not much movement, almost straight to the baseball, and a solid double here, and he's hitting well over 300 this spring. His average up near 400 this spring now with that 2-base hit, and he does get himself a run batted in. What I was trying to say, he's up there with a runner at third. The Phillies have the infield back. All you have to do is hit a decent ground ball to short of second. You're going to get yourself a run batted in. But he gets a bonus by getting the 2-base hit.
A lot of hip action in that swing.
He's very quick with the bat. I like the way he swings the bat.
So it's 5-3 Phillies now, and this is Eduardo Nunez lifting one out over the head of Jason Worth. That will drop. That will allow Russo to score easily. And Nunez thinking 3, but he'll stay at second. Another RBI double. Now it's 5-4.
I'll tell you what, some of these minor leaguers are swinging the bat like big leaguers today. Russo with a double. This is a booming double over the head of Worth in center. Remember, Nunez is a shortstop by trade. He has some power. Hit 9 home runs at Double-A last year. Worth going back, and remember, the wind is also knocking that ball down, and he still can't get to it. Now, Robbie Thompson, the third base coach, just had a discussion with A.J. Burnett. Remember, there's nobody out and a man on second. Now, this would call for a bunt, but this is something that A.J. Burnett has not practiced this spring. Let's see what he actually does here. The Phillies are looking for the bunt on the corners.
Well, that's the word from third. But lay down a bunt if you can.
Yeah, if you can, because A.J., you know, he's had experience in the National League. He's got 3 home runs in his career, so he can swing the bat. But right now he's up there just trying to help himself and bunt the runner across if he can.
And he lays one down in front of the plate. The chopper, Hamels checks third, but throws on to first. So A.J. gets the job done. Moves Nunez over to third with 1 out here in the top of the 4th.
And I bet you Robbie Thompson told him no matter what, even if you get 2 strikes, you're still bunting. But with 1 strike, he was able to get the runner over to third. Good job by A.J. Burnett. Help himself out.
That also helps Brett Gardner out. He's got a chance to knock in another run with a fly ball or a base hit, and he could tie the game. 3 straight extra base hits by the Yankees in this inning have added a couple runs, and it's 5-4.
Let's see how the Phillies want to play this in the infield. On the left side, it looks like they're going to be in to try and cut off the run. On the right side, Utley is back at second base. Howard's just a little deeper than the bag. So ground ball to second. We'll get the run in. Now Rollins is dropping back. So ground ball to shorter second. Nunez has pretty good speed. If he gets a good jump off the bag, he should be able to score. Here's where when you're hitting, you don't want to hit it to third. You don't want to hit the first, and you certainly don't want to hit it back to the pitcher. Those are three guys you want to keep it away from if you can. And if you hit a fly ball, you want to hit it deep enough.
Well, he lifts one out to left field. That will get Nunez on the bag to tag. Ibanez loads up to throw. On the mark, but just late, and Nunez is in, and we've got a tie game at 5. Gardner gets the job done.
Good situational hitting by Brett Gardner. Sardina did a good job of selling that he wasn't going to catch the ball, but Nunez didn't fall for it. It's a closer play. Slides. And let's see if he gets the hand on the on home plate. Ibanez, did he touch it or did he touch his foot? Ooh, barely got it.
Luckily, barely counts. And so it's all even at 5 as Curtis Granderson comes in. There's another look right there. Sardina positioned nicely, but Nunez gets the hand in. Granderson, top of the first, doubled, knocked in Gardner. Put the Yankees on top at that point, 1-0. Also grounded out to first.
One thing I've noticed about Granderson this spring, Bob, he's had now almost 30 at bats, maybe a few more. But he's been a high strikeout guy in his career. One year he struck out 174 times. And working with Kevin Long, he has only struck out 5 times this spring. So that means more contact. And boy, that's a close pitch, taking that one. He got the call. It's 3-1. Might be time to ride the wind right here. Nope.
Good patient at bat by Granderson, and he draws a walk. So an opportunity for Mark Teixeira now, who's doubled and scored. He also singled back in the first.
If you ask me, Texas is about ready for the season to start. I mean, his average is over 300. He's 2 for 2 today. Started the game over 300. Looks like he's swinging the bat very nicely. A-Rod starting to come on with the bat. So is Derek Jeter. Change up. So it looks as though man, he's up to 357 now. Starting to get into midseason form. Time to ring the bell. Let's go.
This is when hitters wanted to break camp, right?
Sometimes you don't want to be too much of a hurry to run up into 30-degree temperatures. That can change your whole perspective on playing baseball. You notice how today he's up there with short sleeves on, feeling, you know, when you're wearing every single stitch of clothing you have in your locker, you feel a little bit, you feel like the Michelin Man.
And as we all know, the Michelin Man had a lifetime batting average barely above 200.
Yeah, but
that's the thing.
Yeah, once he got rolling, though.
Oh. I think you were on probation at this point for at least an inning. That was a good one, Kenny. Teixeira gets a hold of one again. Left center field, worth giving it a look. And that's all he'll give it. The fans will get it. The Yankees will get a 7-5 lead on the 2-run home run by Mark Teixeira.
I told you he's looking pretty good. A single, a double, and now a 2-run home run. And the wind could not keep this one in the ballpark. The wind, high changeup, and he just smokes it. That might not even been a strike. Man.
And from what we've seen all afternoon with that wind, we've seen, what, 3 fly balls die out there.
But this one, even this wind couldn't knock that down.
With 7-5 Yankees now.
He's ready. It's his 3rd home run of the spring.
And Nick Swisher, the 8th batter of the inning, singled his last time up.
The wind could not hold this one. You can see Worth. And a souvenir among the many fans out there in left center field.
Swisher hard hit down the left field line and foul.
You know, each pitcher has had a bad inning. There's that wind blowing from left to right with authority. You know, yesterday's storm, this is the residual effects of that storm that came through here yesterday and rained out the ball game.
Swisher on 0-2, and looks like it nicked him. Barely. Hamels doesn't even believe it. But Swisher's aboard, hit by pitch.
Let's see.
I think he sold that one. I don't know.
Come on, Nick. If it hit him, it just got his jersey and nothing else. Oh, well, we know that Nick was on a. What show was he on this winter? How I Met Your Mother. Yeah, he was acting on that show, so pretty good acting job here. Oh, Nick.
And the Emmy goes to
Nick Swisher.
Wait, can't get the envelope open. Oh, Francisco Cervelli is the 9th batter this inning as they batted around against Cole Hamels. 5 runs in this inning for the Yankees. They've taken a 7-5 lead.
Yeah, this is Hamels having a A.J. Burnett first inning.
A little chopper foul.
Nick took off. He was trying to steal a bag. Hit me, will you?
We've had 4 extra base hits, a hit by pitch, and 1 Emmy nomination in this inning. Cervelli chopping one up the middle, and that fielded easily by Chase Utley as he steps on the bag to end the inning. But not before the Yankees put 5 on the board, and Mark Teixeira fights the wind and wins. A 2-run homer. Yankees are now up 7-5.
It's Chevy.
With the Nets pregame, then Ian Eagle and Mike Fratello have the call. Heat Nets coverage starts tonight at 7 only on Yes. A look at the Audi scoreboard. It is 7-5 Yankees thanks to the strength of a 5-run top of the 4th inning, powered by Mark Teixeira in his 2-run home run. 4 extra base hits in that inning. The Yankees were solid right out of the gate. 3 base hits in a row, and they were in business.
There's Jimmy Rollins with a run scored. That's what he's supposed to do atop the Philly lineup.
And he lifts one out to shallow right field. Nick Swisher. The wind looks like it holds that one up for him. And 1 out here in the bottom half of the 4th. Kenny, what do you make of the starting pitching so far? We know based on talent, A.J. Burnett against Cole Hamels is a nice matchup.
It certainly is. Each pitcher had 1 bad inning. Since the first, A.J.'s kind of settled down somewhat. And Hamels, well, he had a bad inning last inning. Each team putting up a 5 spot.
And from what we've seen from A.J., one of his typical outings, if you throw out the first inning where he gave up 5, every inning he's allowed base runners, at least 1 or 2, but he's gotten out of trouble.
He's kind of had a mixture of the 2 games he had in the World Series. In the first game in the second game in the World Series, he was lights out. Struck out 9 and 7 innings. The Yankees even up the series when they won 3-1. But then in the 5th game of the World Series, where the Yankees with a chance to win the World Series, A.J. gave up 6 earned runs, and the Phillies were able to at least play 1 more game. The Yankees took it back up to the Bronx and won the World Series. 4 games to 2.
Fastball right over the middle, and Polanco knocks that into right center field for a base hit.
This guy can hit. Polanco's a career .303 hitter. And moving into a lineup like he is with the Phillies in front of Utley, Howard, Worth, and Ibanez, he's going to get some pitches to hit, including maybe a high fastball or two, and he's going to do a lot like he just did, base hits.
You know, and this is one of those great additions that hurts another team by subtraction. The Tigers now have Scott Sizemore, the guy they're giving an opportunity to as a rookie at second base, but you know, he is completely unproven compared to Polanco.
Yeah, he's no Polanco. Polanco, a Gold Glove winner at second base. Now he's going to play third here for the Phillies. Yeah, if I were going to teach a youngster how to hit, I might pattern them after Chase Utley. He's got a very powerful, quick swing. Yankee fans remember him hitting 5 home runs in the World Series. There's not much movement there, and this might be a swing you might want to pattern your youngster after, just this type of stroke. He's a patient hitter. He's got power, excellent fielder, just a good all-around solid ball player. As many stars as the Phillies have, Utley might be the most popular of all the players on the team, especially after the World Series. I mean, he hit 5 home runs in the World Series. Those are the last 5 seasons. Remember, he too, like A-Rod, has had hip surgery.
And that sweet swing nets him a base hit to right field as we see Polanco racing around to third, and the Phillies have first and third here with 1 out.
If you make a mistake, he does not waste time getting the barrel of the bat to the ball. Just quick, boom, right to the point. Follow through, head down, nice stroke.
To draw a comparison, if I can, and you tell me if this is fair, as much as we talk about Robinson Cano with that sort of effortless swing, Utley kind of has the same thing.
Yeah, but very, very, very quick. It's almost like he's chopping at the ball. Now, one of the differences between he and Ryan Howard, a much longer swing, of course, a much bigger man too, but a much longer swing. Both hit for power, but just different ways of doing it.
And once again, Burnett finds himself in a bit of a jam. The Phillies power hitter Ryan Howard up here with 2 men aboard and 1 out.
Fastest player in Major League history to 200 home runs. He passed Hall of Famer Ralph Kiner, who had that record. Howard now with 222 home runs in his career.
And takes a ball 1-1.
Let's see, how did he do that? Look it up here. Let's see, he hit 22, 58, 47, 48, 45. You get to 200 quick that way.
Well, that ballpark in Philly is tailor-made for him, isn't it?
Yeah, the dimensions here are very similar to Citizens Bank Ballpark in Philadelphia, which is a good hitter's ballpark. Howard, as we mentioned earlier, has power to all fields. 2 years ago, he had more opposite field home runs than any other player.
The 74th pitch of the afternoon for A.J. Burnett, and that one gets away. Not as much as one we've seen today, but up high to Ryan Howard. And it's 2-2.
That's production. 45, 141, 48, 146, 47, 136, and MVP year, hit 58 home runs.
Those numbers are beyond impressive as A.J. gets him to chase a pitch away for the second out.
Of course, he did set a record for a number of strikeouts in a World Series against the Yankees. Is this a breaking ball or a changeup? This is a breaking ball, and it's A.J.'s one of his signature pitches is the breaking ball low and in to left-handed hitters for strikeouts.
All right, so A.J. Burnett now 75 pitches. And with 2 outs here, bottom of the 4th, He could put away Jason Worth. He can get out of a big, big jam. Right, that is now his 77th pitch. I was one off there.
Bob, I don't expect you to remember every single one.
I'm not going to speak for the rest of the ballgame now, Ken.
Oh, okay.
I take it hard. I take losses hard, Ken.
You know, Michael would say, yeah, I can remember every pitch. Look at him. Yankees would like to see him get through this inning. They have, as you mentioned, Royce Ring warming up the bullpen. And I think if A.J. does not get Worth, Ring will come in and face Ibanez, a left-handed hitter. So this will be his last man one way or the other. They are slowly building their way up to 100 pitches, which would be just about a full game for a starting pitcher in the major leagues. They can go a little further than that, and managers leave them in there when they're really going well.
And he burns a strike across the outside corner on 3-0, so it's 3-1. Well, they certainly would have liked to see A.J. Burnett a little more efficient, as he is right around the 80 pitch mark. He's only in the bottom half of the fourth. And a swing and a miss, and a big swing and a miss by Worth. It's 3-2.
Well, Burnett definitely has this swing and miss type stuff with the breaking ball. And just a high, hard one that Worth couldn't catch up to.
What do you come with here? Breaking ball, or you trust it?
Either one. You know, he hadn't had much success with the breaking ball, but that fastball was a good one. Let's see what happens.
Got him on the outside part of the play. You can see the Worth does not agree, but what matters is the way the ump calls it, and he calls it in Burnett's favor. A nice way to end the bottom half of the fourth inning. It's a strikeout, and it retains the Yankees' 7-5 lead.
The Cadillac Laurel sales event, featuring the acclaimed CTS sports sedan, a car and driver 10 best for the third year in a row, with a direct injection V6 engine. See your Cadillac dealer soon, because while there is no expiration date on achievement, on rewarding it, there is. For qualified current lessees, the CTS Luxury Collection.
As long as we're winding up our doing dials, let's wind them with precision. Open our throttle to even more selection and turn that savings swagger up full tilt. So when the time comes to bust open a can of doing, we've got all the tools for all the things we need to make them happen. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Right now, get Miracle Grow garden soil for flowers and vegetables for just $3.97.
It's time for...
Welcome back. These television providers claim to offer great value. Judges, who will you believe?
We're the biggest value in entertainment.
We offer the same TV as DirecTV for less.
Does the same include channels like AMC, Animal Planet, Bravo, FX?
Not in our basic package like yours.
Judges?
In your face. In your face.
Now that you've got the truth, get DirecTV. Stay tuned.
So now you can get a great deal on any Volkswagen.
Green one.
Oh.
Well, Yankees fans can't wait for the 2010 season to begin. Subscribe now to MLB.tv to see over 150 select spring training games, plus every regular season game live or on demand on your computer. For complete details, visit Yankees.com. Baseball everywhere. And the Phillies now with a new pitcher, 24-year-old David Herndon, who's been impressive as a Rule 5 pick, Kenny.
Yes, he has 5 games, hasn't given up a run in 6 innings, 3 strikeouts, couple of walks, only 1 hit in 5 innings. Last year did his pitching in Double-A, Arkansas, and pitched to an ERA just over 3.
I mentioned Rule 5 picked up from the Angels, and a chance to stick because with Brad Lidge likely to start the season injured, along with J.C. Romero, they need a little help with the bullpen, and he's been very impressive, Kenny, as you mentioned this spring, as Ramiro Pena chops one back to the mound. for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, first time Payne has been retired, has a single and a triple. He's the one who got the Yankee 5-run outburst started last inning. Phillies have made a couple of changes. They have moved Francisco from right to center, and Ross Glode, former Kansas City Royal, takes over in right field. There's Francisco in center. Worth is out of the ball game.
And Kevin Russo, he has hit the ball hard this afternoon. Russo, long fly ball to left field that was just short of being a home run, and then he doubled in a run in the top half of the fourth. And looks at a breaking ball, knocks it over to third. Nice play there by Polanco, and on to first. Terrific defensive play to get Kevin Russo for the second out.
That was a close play at first base. Oh, we talked about Polanco as a Gold Glove second baseman in Detroit. Makes a Gold Glove type play at third here with the Phillies in Clearwater. Oh, just in time to get the speedy route. Oh, I don't know.
Boy, that looked a little iffy there at first. Russo, to his credit, has hit ball hard every time he's been at the plate.
He's a good hitter. Like I said, there's a lot of scouts here, and they follow these spring training games, and organizations would love to take a player from another organization and turn him into a star.
Nunez in foul territory. It looked like he was headed to the stands, but the wind blowing it back. Sardina gloves it, and a quick 1-2-3 inning for David Herndon as we head to the bottom half of the fifth inning, and the Phillies down by 2.
Hi, I'm PC, your predictably correct morning radio guy.
He's not PC, not predictable. He's Imus.
So he's
opinionated, irreverent.
I make my big name guests comfortable so they talk.
He does bigger names and makes them uncomfortable so they squirm. Then they talk.
You want them to squirm?
Yeah, makes it more interesting.
The new Imus on 77 WABC.
Years ago, the world was faced with a challenge.
They get Georgie, Jorge Posada. Yours free only in the Sunday Daily News.
Back in the bottom half of the fifth inning with the Yankees leading the Phillies 7-5, as always, joined by Yankee skipper Joe Girardi. Joe, great to have you here, and you've been busy again today. You spent time this morning in Tampa watching some of your guys throw, and then you get to see AJ throw his 4 innings today.
Yes, yeah, we had, I think, 6 guys throw over there, 5 guys throw over there. We had Jabba for 5 and Pettit for 5, Mo and Rivera Robertson, and Chenho Park for 2. So it's been a busy day. AJ, I love the way he finished. Started off a little slow, but loved the way he rebounded and made the adjustment and got through those innings.
You know, do you feel sometimes like he lives a little too much on the edge in some of those innings? And if he's, because we saw some of that last year, is there a way you sort of tame that?
Oh, I don't necessarily think he's trying to live on the edge. I mean, that's just, you know, there's that discussion they always have when they're not aggressive enough. Well, I think pitchers are aggressive most of the time. They you know, because it's not like he's throwing breaking ball. He's throwing fastball. He's just missing today, and that's where he got in trouble.
Joe, did you like what you saw this morning from your pitchers over in Tampa?
I did. I thought they threw the ball well, and as you know, for veteran guys, sometimes those can be tough conditions, pitching at 10 o'clock in the morning. But you know, they faced hitters that have some big league time. Thames was there. He got about 8 at bats. Wynn got about 8 at bats. So we left guys that were ready to go, because if you do it against minor league kids, they're not really ready to go yet. And we wanted the at bats to be tough, and it was good.
And Ibanez lifting one foul along the third base line. The breeze blowing it back into play. And Ramiro Pena, nice backhanded grab there to get Ibanez out.
Pena just had himself a nice day today.
Yes, he has. I mean, we really like what he does. I mean, he's a great defender, and he's a switch hitter for us. And you know, left-handed, he's had more success than he has right-handed, but he's swinging back good right-handed today. And we're going to make a change here. Phil Hughes is coming in right now.
Was it because it was a quick inning last inning he didn't start this one?
Yeah, we don't like 6-pitch innings, but it happened.
All right, I'll tell you what, Joe, we'll take a quick break as Phil Hughes comes in, and we'll be back here at Bright House Field in just a moment.
I just bought a 2010 Toyota Prius.
I am buying a new Toyota Camry.
Brand new 2010 Toyota Camry.
Your loyalty has helped make us the #1 car brand in America. So we're offering you our biggest thank you ever.
Right now at your Toyota dealer, you can lease a new 2010 Camry for just $179 a month, or get 0% financing for 60 months.
Thank you for standing by us.
Your boss is a frightening man. His daughter is lovely. This little maneuver is entirely ill-conceived. Well done.
A good reputation is difficult to attain. A reputation for unsurpassed quality and industry-leading customer service even more so. Which is why it must be earned. Every day, every mile, with every driver. We've earned ours by relentlessly asking one simple question. How can we make it even better tomorrow? Lexus, the pursuit of perfection.
The Sunday Daily News is celebrating modern Yankee heroes with great commemorative magazines. Each Sunday, get a big, full-color magazine of a Yankee hero, packed with extraordinary action shots, career highlights and stats, plus a player poster. This Sunday, get Georgie, Jorge Posada. Yours free only in the Sunday Daily News.
All right, so a pitching change for the Yankees as Phil Hughes comes in. No change for the Yankees on the microphone. It's still Joe Girardi with us. What are you expecting from Phil afternoon? What would you like to see?
Well, we'd like to see him finish this game. He's got 75, 80 pitches, so I would love to see him to finish the game. And I'd even love to see him, in a sense, have to throw more in the bullpen when it was over, because that means he was very efficient.
Is it a tough call trying to get a read on both what Jabba did today and what he's going to do? Jabba pitched pretty well over there in the intra-squad game, and you've said it's not all about the numbers, but you do need to see results now.
Well, you do need to see results, and that's not what we're looking for.
Yeah, that is a quick swing and gone for Ben Francisco. My goodness, that ball got out of here in a hurry, and it's now 7-6.
He might have to pull a A.J. Burnett and settle down, but only one pitch. Somebody has to remind them you still have the lead.
Yeah, and that's the thing about being a hitter. You know, when you're facing a starter that's coming in, your first pitch is probably going to be a fastball, and you've already had a couple at bats, so you're somewhat loose. So, I mean, you can turn it loose. A lot of times, the first time they see a guy in the beginning of the game, some guys will take strikes. But in that situation, you know, you got to make a quality pitch, and that ball was up.
On the replay, Joe, that pitch was right there.
Yeah, about belt high.
And Dane Sardina gets one right down the middle as well. And Brett Gardner with a nice grab, a leaping grab. So that one was dangerous, but it ends up in the glove of Gardner for the second out.
Well, he used a lot of ballpark on that one, but that's why you have defenders out there. And Brett Gardner getting used to left field.
And that's not easy. I mean, a lot of times people think a guy that plays center, he should be able to move to left. Well, I mean, it's different angles. We saw the ball that Swish hit dropped in. I mean, Jason Worth is an outstanding outfielder. It's windy, it's sunny, it's a different angle from what he's used to seeing in right field every day. And sometimes, you know, it takes some time to adjust to that position.
Brings up Ross Glode, his first at bat of the game, and a good fastball outside part of the plate for Phil Hughes.
Joe, I've always mentioned, if you can play the outfield in Florida with the combination of the sun, you can play it anywhere.
You sure can. It's tough.
You know, one of the questions about Gardner that people have been searching for, is he a regular, everyday guy, 500 at bats? From what you're seeing, is he capable of that this season?
Well, I think he can do it. I think we all believe that he can do it, but you know, he doesn't have that track record that some of these older guys do, and he needs to prove it.
All right, well, I think Phil Hughes had enough of the balls hit hard. He took care of Ross Glode there. Joe, thanks for joining us. Always
Thanks,
a pleasure.
Guys.
We're headed to the top half of the sixth. Phillies get one back, but the Yanks still lead it by one. Activity with the offense. The Phillies getting one back there in the bottom half of the fifth. It's 7-6 Yankees as we head to the top of the sixth. And David Herndon facing Jorge Vasquez, who comes in the pitcher spot. He's playing third base now. Takes over for A.J. Burnett, at least in terms of the 9-hole in the lineup.
That's what Vasquez has done in spring training, but this young man can swing the bat.
hot shot to third. Polanco there, and on to first for the first out.
Well, fans, Saturday afternoon on Yes, the Yankees hit the road to take on the Tigers. Coverage starts at 1 with all the action from Lakeland, Florida. Don't forget opening day on Sunday night, April 4th, as the Yankees take on the Red Sox at Fenway Park. They do it for real. Yankee baseball is back right here on Yes.
Amazing how there's hardly any offseason anymore, right, Kenny?
Oh, when you start playing World Series into November.
You get the chill at one end and the chill at the other.
Well, the thing about it with the World Baseball Classic starting beginning last year, that pushed back the regular season a week or so, and then, of course, that pushed back the World Series.
Rick Gardner has scored a run today. That came in the first. Flown out to right field. Also a fly ball to left, got an RBI out of that in the fourth inning.
Well, that fake bunt had Polanco on the charge. Infielders well aware of Gardner's speed.
It's chopping one to second. Utley will backhand quickly on to first. What a ground ball to second, and Gardner almost beats it out.
And the reason being because Utley had to go to his right. Now, Utley was up a few steps guarding against a drag bunt. And that cuts down his lateral movement, but it wasn't quite hard enough to get it by him. And you see, all of a sudden, he snapped throw at the end. He looks up. He says, I better get it over there. And he gets Gardner by a step.
Well, Curtis Granderson has scored once as well. That came back in the fourth. He drew a walk and later scored.
You know, one thing about Joe Girardi at the beginning of the spring training session, he was worried about getting the lineup set. Everybody's talked about the fifth starter, but the lineup is another thing as well. You know, Nick Johnson will probably start the season batting second.
Base hit for Granderson.
But with Granderson's speed, and today, for an example, he's been on base 3 times. He's had a double, a walk and a run scored, and now a single. And as I mentioned, he's starting to heat up here. Now, one of the best spots to hit in all of baseball is in front of Mark Teixeira and Alex Rodriguez. And you're going to get some pitches to hit. Only one of them is here today, but he's up now. And he's already had a home run.
And if Girardi feels the need maybe to give Nick Johnson a day off or two.
Or give Granderson a little more speed at the top.
Right.
Because Granderson can steal bases.
Yeah, you can always play with that, put him in the 2 spot. All right, so Mark Teixeira has had himself an afternoon. Single, double homer, needs the triple for the cycle.
Ooh.
And if you get one out to right field with this wind, don't rule it out. Just watch Granderson in front of you and chase him. See if you can get close to him.
See if you can handle the baton. Let's take a look at the afternoon for Mark Teixeira thus far, and it's been a good one. First time up, a little bloop single. You'll take it. Then a solid double. And this one, even the wind couldn't hold it. Out of the ballpark. 2-run homer.
Well, this is, of course, his first at bat from the left side. Handled Hamels very well. The approach against Herndon might be a little different. He is a sinker baller, keeps the ball down, gets a lot of ground ball outs. But Teixeira 3 triples last year.
Trying to think of where a good, the right field's kind of short. I don't know if he could get a triple. The load might have to fall down. But I would think just to the left of straightaway center field. There's a little angle out there. The fence angle's about to bounce around a little bit. Francisco might have trouble with it. That might be the triple area here at Bright House Field.
Right back up the middle. Herndon self-defense position right there. Yes, Teixeira doesn't get a triple, but he gets a very effective single, and the Yankees have a couple men aboard.
Yeah, not a triple, but a very loud single. Watch Herndon's reaction here. Right over the shoulder. He couldn't get his hand up quickly enough.
No.
Once you release that ball, you're only about 55, maybe 50-something feet away. And Teixeira is now 4 for 4, and 3 of the 4 have been hit really hard. Like I said, he's ready to go. Where's Fenway?
Nick Swisher now with a couple men aboard here, top of the 6th, and 2 outs. And in his last at bat, hit by a pitch, grazed his uniform, we think. And Swisher knocks one into left field, and incoming is Raul Ibanez to get it for the final out of the inning. But they hit the ball hard. End result, no runs. Yankees still leading it 7-6.
It's time for...
Welcome back. These television providers claim to offer great value. Judges, who will you believe?
We're the biggest value in entertainment.
We offer the same TV as DirecTV for less.
Does the same include channels like AMC, Animal Planet, Bravo, FX?
Not in our basic package like yours.
Judges?
To your face. In your face.
Now that you've got the truth, get DirecTV. Stay tuned.
As long as we're winding up our doing dials, let's wind them with precision. Open our throttle to even more selection and turn that savings swagger up full tilt. So when the time comes to bust open a can of doing, we've got all the tools for all the things we need to make them happen. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Right now, get Miracle Grow garden soil for flowers and vegetables for just $3.97.
They are the Yankee captains who inspired courage, persevered through pain, led by example, and set the standard with a relentless will to win. Yankeeography, the Captain's Collection, is a 2-DVD salute to 7 distinguished captains from Lou Gehrig to Derek Jeter. With more than 6 hours of pinstripe pride as seen on Yes Network, Yankeeography, the Captain's Collection, is available now.
1 year after you quit smoking, your risk of heart disease is cut in half. But right now, you're a heart attack waiting to happen. Every cigarette makes you sick. For help, call 311.
The Yankees are back, and YesNetwork.com is your source for in-depth coverage from spring training with daily video updates, interviews, blogs, and photo galleries. Plus, follow Yes Network on Twitter for the latest updates. YesNetwork.com, your Yankees spring training home.
Well, Jabba Chamberlain was one of a large handful of Yankees pitchers pitching intra-squad baseball today in Tampa. Andy Pettitte was another. Over 4 innings, allowed 11 hits, 3 runs, and struck out 6. And he talked to Jack Curry about his outing.
We're here in Tampa with Andy Pettitte, where he just finished an intra-squad contest throwing 80 pitches. And Andy, how weird is that to be in a stadium where not a lot of people watching and you're facing some guys who are your teammates?
Yeah, it's strange. There's no doubt, but you know, it's just a matter of getting your pitches in. I was able to do that, and you know, it felt good. You know, didn't feel as good as I'd like to. Didn't finish a few pitches, and my changeup and command wasn't as good as I would like for it to have been, as good as it was my last start against the Phillies. But it's kind of expected, like you just said, when you have 20 people in the stands and you're facing the same batter 8 or 9 times. It's kind of tough. It's kind of tough to go through them.
Yeah, for a guy who's pitched in as many World Series as you have, totally different environment. Do you have to pump yourself up a little more out there?
No, I mean, you try to get focused, really, and you just try to make pitches. But again, it's just, you can't really pump yourself up. I mean, you're facing your own hitters. You don't want to hit nobody. I threw a couple up and in on a couple of guys just because I needed to work on some stuff, because I was throwing a lot of strikes and they were getting a lot of hits and just swinging at everything. So you kind of want to make it as realistic as you can, but it's awful tough to do that.
You've done a real good job of mentoring some of the other pitchers on the staff. One of the big issues, Jabba versus Hughes for the 5th starter this spring. Have you talked to those 2 guys moving forward throughout the spring about that?
I haven't. You know, there's nothing really to talk to them about. They both want to be the 5th starter, as well as about 3 or 4 other guys, you know, that are competing for that job also. And all of them want to be the 5th starter for the New York Yankees extremely bad. So, you know, they know what they got to do. Whenever I try to talk to them, I try to talk to them about making sure they're getting their work in, making sure they're getting in bed at night, sleeping, and getting the rest they need to, and taking care of their bodies and stuff like that. and then just during the years when you try to get them as far as talking about pitching and stuff like that. So it's been a good competition. Like I said, I know they all want to have the spot. There's only one person that can pitch in that spot. And I think everybody's looking forward to getting a decision and getting a decision made so we can move forward with our staff, not just the 5th spot, but we got to worry about our bullpen and locking up our bullpen and how it's going to work out and stuff like that. So as soon as they make that decision, it'll probably make things a lot better around here.
And last question, back to you, personal question. You're looking at 2010, but as you move through 2010, could this be it for Andy Pettitte? Are you thinking that maybe this will be the final year, get back home and worry about some stuff back at home?
Well, again, I mean, obviously I've taken every year, year to year since I've come back. And I'm looking at it as the same way as I have. I'm looking to get through this year. This year, I mean, it'll dictate, probably what I do in the future. So I just want to see how my body feels. And then I'll get to the end of the season, and again, I'll reevaluate the situation, try to figure out if I feel like it's something I want to try to do again, see where my family's at with it, and then go from there.
Great, Andy. Thanks for the time.
All right, you bet, Jack.
All right, Jack, thank you. And Andy telling Jack yesterday he feels that pull of home more than ever now.
Well, his kids are getting to be teenage years now, and certainly Andy's been a great family man over the years. As we watch Phil Hughes here, look at our Ford scoreboard, 7-6, the Yankees are leading. Phil Hughes has made some good pitches this inning with his off-speed pitches, change up, his breaking ball, and he's got the arsenal certainly to be a starting pitcher. He's got a little cutter that he throws. He worked on that last year. That was a pitch that he added, but he's got 4 solid pitches. There's a changeup.
And he moved pretty quickly through Jimmy Rollins and Placido Polanco to get the first 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 6th. But a good patient at bat by Chase Utley. And tries the breaking ball, trusts it on 3-2 and gets Utley. You've got the feeling Utley was anticipating nothing but the fastball, but he got something different. A great breaking ball as Hughes gets out of the inning with a strikeout.
The 2009 New York Yankees are world champions.
Come out to Yankee Stadium in 2010 to see the 27-time world champion New York Yankees in action. Don't miss calendar weekend on Saturday, April 17th and Sunday, April 18th when the Yankees play the Rangers. All fans in attendance at either game will receive a 2010 Yankees calendar, courtesy of Subway. In 2010, come home to Yankee Stadium, the home of champions.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Does Charlie Daniels play a mean fiddle?
That's how you do it, son.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
It's the first time you're letting your daughter shop on her own. So here's your moment of truth, Mom. Which 3G network would you trust to run apps like Family Locator when it matters most? When you want your 3G network to work, you want Verizon. Upgrade your family now and get an LG Envy Touch. Or get this Samsung Alias for just $29.99. Plus add a line for just $9.99. Families can connect for less at Verizon.
Want to know what it takes to be a leader? How about just being the best? Like Ford Escape. This SUV gets up to an unbelievable 28 miles per gallon. And during our leadership sales drive, you can get 0% financing plus $2,000 cash back. That's both 0% and $2,000 cash. Plus, Ford has quality that is unsurpassed by Honda and Toyota. And now you can lease for only $239 a month. Ford Escape. Less stops at the pump. More savings in your wallet. The leadership sales drive at your Tri-State Ford dealer.
Today's Game on Yes is brought to you in part by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey. Please drink responsibly. By Lexus and your local Lexus dealer. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. We head to the top half of the 7th inning. The Yankees leading it 7-6. Wholesale changes for the Phillies, including the pitcher. The new pitcher is a left-hander, Antonio Bastardo. Saw a little time with the Major League club last season.
6 games with the Phillies. Make that 6.75. 7 hits, 8 strikeouts in 4 innings.
This is another guy that figures in somewhere in the bullpen, with J.C. Romero starting the season injured, coming back from some off-season elbow surgery. They need a lefty out there, and Bastardo could be the guy. So he starts things off against Francisco Cervelli, who's grounded into a double play, struck out swinging, and grounded out to second base. Pops one up along the right side. Ryan Howard will just wait and let the breeze blow it right into his mitt. 1 out.
Shortstop, Ramiro Pena.
You know, Ryan Howard, as you look at him, used to be a lot heavier. I mean, he's still a solid, well, he's not a little guy, let's put it that way. But Charlie Manuel, the manager, just talking about Ryan Howard before the game, he says as good as he is, he can be even better. And we looked at the numbers before. Was he going to drive in 200 runs?
Manuel slimmed down himself in the offseason.
Yes, he did.
Looks very good. Here's Ramiro Pena. He is singled, tripled, grounded out, stolen a base as well this afternoon. And that's less poundage than what we've seen in the past. Maybe they're inspiring each other.
Yeah, that could be. There might be maybe there's a wager involved. I don't know. But Charlie went on a dive right after the World Series.
And Pena slices one down the right field line and foul.
Yeah, the Phillies have made several changes in the infield. Howard's the only infielder that's left from the starters. Ozzie Chavez is now at second. This is third baseman. There's Ozzie Chavez at second. We'll catch you up on the other players now in the ball game.
And Pena gapping one out to right center field, but you see the wind blowing out from left to right and blows it into the glove of Ross Glode. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th.
Second base for Kevin Russo.
I got Juan Castro at short.
Kenny slowly figuring it out.
Yeah.
These late changes.
Let's get these guys to turn around.
Well, we've talked a lot about Russo this afternoon. What a great afternoon. Hit the ball hard. He has a double. He's knocked in a run scored. The 1 for 3 doesn't do him service because he's hit the ball hard every time.
There's Dobbs playing third. Yeah, Castro's at short, Greg Dobbs at third.
And a swing and a miss, 1 and 2. You'll also notice with Russo swinging, he has that nice swing, but he gets his money's worth when he does.
Yeah, he's quick.
And a breaking ball down in the dirt, and Russo goes down swinging. So a nice 1-2-3 inning for the lefty Antonio Bastardo out of the Phillies pen. 7th inning stretch with the Yankees up 7-6.
The Cadillac Laurel sales event,
featuring the acclaimed CTS Sports Sedan. A car and driver 10 best for the 3rd year in a row. With a direct injection V6 engine. See your Cadillac dealer soon, because while there is no expiration date on achievement, on rewarding it, there is. For qualified current lessees, the CTS Luxury Collection.
Okay, which one of these facts sounds more shocking? Lots of Fios customers switch back to cable, or tons switch back?
Well, neither of those are facts. Actually, 98% of Fios customers stay with Fios.
Yeah, I mean, we're just making this stuff up. Question number 2.
I'm gonna take the stairs.
Which one of these sounds like we didn't make it up?
With 4 times more very satisfied customers, it's no wonder over 98% of Verizon Fios customers stick with Fios. This is beyond cable. This is Fios.
Wow! Forget about retirement. I'm going to play baseball.
Michael, that's the Easton Synergy IMX. Its reduction of mass in the barrel makes it lighter for faster exit speed, and it's got a bigger sweet spot, so anyone can hit like a pro.
Through Sunday only, get up to $100 in cash cards, good for anything in the store when you spend $100 or more. Only at Sports Authority.
Why design a vehicle with 88 vibration control measures? Why engineer 20 available systems that sense and respond to your needs before you're even aware of them? Because the average driver spends over 40,000 hours of their lifetime driving. The 2010 Lexus ES, uniquely designed to make every hour feel just as remarkable as the first. Lease the 2010 ES 350 for $479 a month for 36 months, with $1179 due at signing.
But next Sunday, get a season preview with the Yankees 2010 Pride, Power, and Pinstripes. Here are the latest plans for manager Joe Girardi, plus exclusive interviews including new Yankee Curtis Granderson and analysis from the Yes Network team. Yankees 2010 premieres Sunday at 4, only on Yes. And Phil Hughes going to work here, bottom half of the 7th against the slugging left-hander Ryan Howard. He had a very good 6th inning, a 1-2-3 inning as he settled down. Allowed that 1 run in the 5th when he gave up the home run to Ben Francisco in his first batter he faced, and with the shift on against Ryan Howard, he gets one past Jorge Vasquez into left field, and Howard with his speed, and he does have some, has himself a double.
Well, Ryan Howard, maybe that lack of weight makes it a little easier to turn singles into doubles. John Weber is now in left field. You can see the pitch moving away from looked like a 2-seam fastball. He goes with it. Only one fielder. That's Vasquez on the left side of the infield for the Yankees, and this ball is headed down the line, and Ryan Howard motors into second with a 2-base hit. This is Greg Dobbs, the third baseman, who's come to the plate.
Should we be surprised at all to have seen the shift on there for Howard, knowing he can hit to the opposite field, and also knowing as he lifts one out to right, and that's David Winfrey out in right field, 2 steps onto the warning track, and Howard will tag and go to third. Knowing that he can go opposite way, and you got a hardcore like Hughes on him.
Yeah, that's true, but when he goes the opposite way, it's usually a fly ball. So that's, you know, a smash through the infield. You usually see him pull the ball on the ground. I'll tell you what, Dobbs got that up in the breeze, and it carried all the way to the warning track, and I didn't think he hit it that well.
Raul Ibanez will have a chance to tie this game up or more. All he needs is a sac fly or a base hit to get Ryan Howard in from third. Phil Hughes starts him off with a strike. So let's take a look at the updated defense. John Weber in left, Greg Golson in center, David Winfrey in right. We know that Russo a couple innings ago moved to second. It's Juan Miranda taking Mark Teixeira's place at first. And then Jorge Vasquez at third. Ramiro Pena staying at short.
That was a very good changeup. Get Ibanez out in front. And now this is where Phil Hughes needs himself a strikeout. The Yankees are up by a run, a runner at third and 1 out. Let's see if he can get it.
And tries him away, hoping that Ibanez will go fishing, and he didn't. 1 and 2. he's trying to develop that changeup this spring, Kenny, and he's showing a lot of confidence in it.
He's used it quite often in the early going here. Infield halfway. There's another changeup. It's in the dirt.
Great stop by Cervelli.
He's a good catcher. Changeup. No, I should say that's a breaking ball in the dirt. Oh, that's why you wear all your equipment, head to toe.
You notice with the catcher's mask, he goes old school like Jorge Posada. He doesn't wear the hockey mask that some of the catchers do.
I think the vision's a little better with this.
2-2 to Ibanez. And gets it. Went with that pitch on the outside part of the plate again, and Ibanez goes down swinging.
Well, Phil used the ability to pick up a strikeout. The tying runs at third with one out. Let's see where he goes. His fastball might have been out of the strike zone, but Ibanez helps him out and swings through it.
Does the fact that it's right in that letter high no man's land as a hitter make you, kind of jump at it?
Sometimes as a hitter in these situations, you have to be more disciplined, really zone in on the strike zone, and Ibanez left it and struck himself out.
All right, now I mentioned Ben Francisco got Phil Hughes in the first pitch when Hughes came into the game, hit it out for a home run. We'll see what he does this time against him.
Yeah, that first pitch this time was better located.
Yeah.
Low and away for a strike. The other one was up and in, and he turned on it.
And he lifts one up to the right side. Juan Miranda gives it a look, but it's getting blown out to right field, and now the wind aiding that right into the glove of David Winfrey. So Phil Hughes really helping himself here. Ryan Howard gets on, but they strand him at third.
It's one of the best mid-size sports sedans in the world. If it's not, there are over 50 international awards we'd better give back. The Jaguar XF, the critically acclaimed result of a very different way of thinking.
Lease a 2010 XF for $599 at your tri-state area Jaguar dealer.
Millionaire Theater presents...
As soon as our sister returns with the newt's toes, our love potion will be complete.
Your plot to cast a spell on me won't work. I'll never fall in love and marry one of you, sisters.
Sisters, I just won $1 million, and I spent it all on cosmetic surgery.
Hoochie mama, look at those ankles.
Become a March millionaire. Play $1 Million Match or one of many New York Lottery instant games offering $1 million or more.
Kyle!
What's up, Mom?
You went on a 29,000-mile joyride in my brand new BMW?
Mom, it's pre-owned.
But your father said it was new.
Yeah, new as in you didn't have it before.
Looks like new, performs like new. And with a warranty for up to 6 years or 100,000 miles, it's hard to believe it's pre-owned.
Wait till your father hears about this.
He knows all about it.
I started running. It really helped me to feel more in control. It made me feel stronger.
I'm more confident. I look forward to challenges. I look forward to going a little further, a little faster.
Running has become a part of my life, and it has really taught me about commitment and dedication.
Running gives me a lot of energy, and it gets me out there. I love Jack Rabbit because they've only got the greatest sneakers there.
And they are runners, too.
So they know what things to look for in a shoe.
I love Jack Rabbit.
Well, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the New York Yankees. A couple more changes this afternoon. Late in the game for the Phillies at third base, it's Wilson Valdez. Greg Dobbs was at third. He replaces Raul Ibanez out and left. And well, look who's over at first, Kenny.
Cody Ransom, former Yankee, who was the one who was playing third base in the absence of Alex Rodriguez last April. Cody now with the Philadelphia Phillies, and he takes over at first base. I think we're going to get one of those no swing at bats from Phil Hughes.
No doubt. Now they made the change because of the pitcher spot in the 9th spot. A.J. Burnett at one point had to bat. Jorge Vasquez went in, so he assumed the 9th spot where the pitcher normally hits. So this is now the 8th spot. Phil Hughes is in it. And as you said, Ken, Phil Hughes probably isn't doing anything up there.
No swing. He might as well go up there empty-handed.
But he looked awfully good standing.
Yeah, he did.
He made a good statue.
So kind of an inglorious strikeout for Bastardo.
You're 2 for 2 today. You know that. Now here's Jorge Vasquez.
Bastardo's got a good arm. He's got a live fastball.
Off one of the windows of a luxury suite and bounces back onto the field.
Yeah, this is a beautiful facility. Bright House Field. Bright House is the cable company in this area. Just off of Route 19. That is a thoroughfare beyond the right field wall here. That's kind of the northwest, north-south road, major road here in Central Florida. Once you get over the 275 in the interstates.
You've called a couple games where a few home run balls have gotten close to that road.
I could have swore that Ryan Howard hit one out there a couple of years ago. We don't know because it hasn't landed yet.
And a good pitch by Bastardo. You know, the one thing that managers look for out of their relievers is a guy who's willing to be aggressive. That's exactly what Bastardo is. So
yep,
far.
It's 5 hitters he's faced. He struck out the last 3 of them and drops a hook over the outside corner on Jorge Vasquez. So 2 up and 2 down.
And that brings up Greg Golson. Took over in center field for Brett Gardner last inning.
Olsen has acquitted himself well in spring training.
You know, we've talked about the Phillies being a very similar team to the Yankees in terms of stars, lineup, pitching rotation in terms of starters. And really their questions are a lot like the Yankees are. The 5th starter,
yeah.
They're looking for that. Kyle Kendrick and Jamie Moyer are in the hunt for that. And then really a few pieces to fill in the bullpen. And part of that is a domino effect of who gets the 5th starter spot.
You know, that's a good point, Bob, because in that situation, the Phillies are kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. You got Jamie Moyer, who's 47 years old. You got Kendrick, who's about 23, 24 years old. Which one's going to get the job? You know, Moyer can't pitch out of the bullpen. In fact, when Pedro Martinez joined the Phillies last year, Moyer did move to the bullpen.
And the difference between the two, besides age, they owe Moyer a lot of money.
Yeah, that's true.
This season, and they'd like to get their money's worth out of him.
Oh, yeah.
So the question then becomes, how do they do that? 5th starter or out of the bullpen?
Olsen at one time was a high draft pick of the Phillies.
Fouls one away. Still 2-2. Well, this is the projected rotation for the Phillies, and it all begins with Roy Halladay, but they were able to get Joe Blanton back, sign him to a deal, and then Jay Hopp was very impressive last year, and he didn't have to be packaged in any deal to get Halladay, and that was pretty important for them, nor was he part of a trade to get Cliff Lee, so they were able to keep him around. As Golson lifts one out to left field, Dobbs will have it, and that will do it here in the top half of the 8th. Nice work by Antonio Bastardo for a 2nd straight inning. The Yankees lead at 7-6.
As long as we're winding up our doing dials, let's wind them with precision. Open our throttle to even more selection and turn that savings swagger up full tilt. So when the time comes to bust open a can of doing, we've got all the tools for all the things we need to make them happen. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Right now, get Miracle-Gro garden soil for flowers and vegetables for just $3.97.
When we built our first hybrid, YouTube didn't exist, and Facebook was still run out of a dorm room. When we built our first hybrid, more people had landlines than cell phones, and gas was $1.75 a gallon. And now, while other luxury car makers are building their first hybrids, Lexus hybrids have traveled 5.5 billion miles. And that's quite a head start.
It's the first time you're letting your daughter shop on her own. So here's your moment of truth, Mom. Which 3G network would you trust to run apps like Family Locator when it matters most? When you want your 3G network to work, you want Verizon. Upgrade your family now and get an LG Envy Touch. Or get this Samsung Alias for just $29.99. Plus add a line for just $9.99. Families can connect for less at Verizon.
Honda Accord and Toyota Camry stand behind their powertrain for up to 60,000 miles. Chevy Malibu stands behind theirs for up to 100,000 miles, which makes it pretty clear who's standing out front. The Consumer's Digest Best Buy 2 years running. Chevy Malibu. Compare it to anyone, and may the best car win. Now, qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on this 2010 Malibu LS for around $199 a month. Call for details. See your local Chevy dealer.
And we're back here, bottom half of the 8th inning. Phil Hughes in his 3rd inning of work, or 4th inning rather. Should say 3rd full inning of work, and facing Dane Sardina.
Well, Joe Girardi mentioned when Phil came into the ball game that he would like to see him finish off this game.
And fouled away. And Kenny, you mentioned earlier the lack, I guess, of empty seats and empty grass space out in the outfield. There's a little bit more right now, but it was a sellout today, 10,724.
Well, a premier matchup of two of the better teams in baseball. And I know that when teams travel, they don't necessarily bring all of their stars.
And if you saw Phil Hughes deliver that pitch, you saw the breeze on his pant legs, and it's exactly the wind kicking up even more. Dane Sardina lifts one out to right, and we've got ourselves a tie ball game, all even at 7 after the solo home run by Sardina.
Sardina now with 4 runs batted in, and he wasn't originally in the starting lineup. It was regular Carlos Ruiz. Now here's what Bob's talking about. The wind on the pant leg, hanging breaking ball. Sardina lifts one on the right field, gets it up in the breeze, and it's gone. Wind aided, to say the least. David Winfrey couldn't get to it.
But unlike track and field, when there's wind-aided world titles or world speed records, not the same here. It doesn't. There's no asterisk for those kind of home runs.
Yeah, this is going to count. If anything, the wind has picked up.
You know, it's done that a lot during our stay down here, Ken. The afternoons seem to get a little breezier as ground ball is to first. Juan Miranda will get it over to Phil Hughes, and they'll get Ross Gloat out there. I'll tell you what, let's get down to the field. Jack Curry for the latest news as he traveled here from Tampa. What do you got for us, Jack?
You know what, Bob? The first news that we'll start out with is Jamie Hoffman cleared waivers, and after he cleared waivers, the Dodgers picked him up. He was the Rule 5 draft pick who the Yankees scooped up from the Dodgers, but he's no longer a Yankee. And what was interesting is he did participate in this inter-squad game today, but we saw him being taken away in a golf cart, and I guess that was his exit out of the Yankee organization. He's headed back to the Dodgers. Good news for Marcus Timms.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that really clears up the spot and kind of probably clears Joe Girardi's mind a little bit, knowing he could focus more on this 5th starter situation?
Right. I think Marcus Timms, that's great news for him because he's having a bad spring, so that will be his spot now. And Bob, there have been some rumblings about Elijah Dukes, who was released by the Washington Nationals yesterday. I've talked to a couple people in the Yankee organization, and they said they have no interest in Dukes. Though there's a lot of talent and he has a lot of potential, it's the off-the-field issues. The Yankees just don't want that headache.
Well, I think that's a great point, Jack, because I think there are a few teams that have shied away from him for that reason. And if we talk about the Yankees last year and this year as a team that has developed chemistry and a good simpatico in the clubhouse, if you will, you wouldn't want to insert that kind of potential influence in there.
Right. I think that the off-the-field issues sometimes, if they're minor, You'll figure out a way to mold the guy into the clubhouse. I think with Dukes, there have been so many that the Yankees just don't want to take that on. It's not worth it.
You know, it's interesting when we listen to your interviews with Jabba Chamberlain and Andy Pettit, how you address the situation that there weren't a lot of people there in Tampa today. Any thought of pumping in crowd noise at all?
I tell you what, Bob, it was the best seat I've ever had as a reporter. I mean, I was sitting in those first row right behind home plate. You could see the movement on Pettit's pitches. You could see the movement on Jabba's pitches. Brian Cashman, Kevin Towers, Billy Epler, they were all about 10 rows behind us. So it was a very different atmosphere. And then to have these same players continually coming up, Randy Wynn, Marcus Timms, the aforementioned Hoffman. It was the same guys over and over again. So it was an odd setting for a Major League style baseball game.
Well, Phil Hughes just dropped a nasty breaking ball in on Juan Castro there for the second out.
Yeah, meanwhile, Jack, I was going to say Phil Hughes has picked up his 4th strikeout outside of that wind-blown home run in the first one, which was legit. You know, he's done a pretty good job.
I think he really has, Kenny. And you know what? I had a moment after I know we're going to bolt here.
All right, we'll take a quick break, but Jack is standing by. We've got more coming up from Jack Curry right after this.
In a tie ball game 7-7 as we go to the top of the 9th. And let's get back to Jack Curry down by the Yankee dugout. Jack, we were talking about Phil Hughes before that quick fly out to left field the ending inning. What do you think he's done today?
You know what, Kenny? I think he had the lead coming into today, and I think he's lengthened his lead today. I really think that in a couple of days, Joe Girardi will be telling us that he's the number 5 starter in the rotation. After Jabba pitched back in Tampa, I had a moment to talk to Joe alone, and I said to him, what did Jabba do to your thought process today? And he said, well, he made it a little tougher. And I said to him, well, I kind of think it's Hughes' job to lose. And Joe stood there, hesitated for a second, and said, we'll see. So I really do think that Hughes has strengthened his hold on the spot.
And Juan Miranda lifting one out to left field. Dobbs is there for the first out here in the top half of the 9th. Jack, with regard to Phil Hughes, you make the comparison of the competition that Jabba faced today and the competition that Phil Hughes faced today. How much of a factor do you think that'll weigh?
I think it factors in. I mean, although Cashman and Girardi have talked about how they're not just looking at results, they want to see the way the ball moves out of the pitcher's hands. They want to see how the hitters react. I mean, Jabba was facing the same set of batters over and over again, Randy Wynn, Marcus Timms, Hoffman. So I do think as a pitcher, you start to get acclimated to who you're throwing against. Phil Hughes is here facing some different hitters. I think Hughes, I just think he put himself ahead right now.
Well, I think one of the big outs that Hughes got today when he struck out Raul Baños with a man on 3rd and 1 out. This is a legitimate 100 RBI guy, and he was able to get him out of there.
Right, and I think the bounce back guys, I'm sure you talked about this, after giving up the homer on the first pitch, he really bounced back after that.
Right, so then the other thing you have to look at is David Winfrey strikes out is what's the timetable? Joe Girardi, I think, originally said he wanted to have an idea by the 25th or 26th that there might be some slide room in that. Are you getting any sense when he might decide on a 5th starter?
He seemed to me, Bob, like he wants to get this nailed down this week. He said tomorrow is an off day. He said Wednesday we're really going to get together. We're going to have some long meetings. We're going to talk about this. And then he pointed to the calendar and said we had said Thursday or Friday. And I think he was reiterating that this is the decision he wants to have out of the way. I do think you need that because you want to let the guy know who's going to be the 5th starter. You want to let him know what he's doing. And the guy who's going to move to the bullpen, you want him to get ready for that too.
And this is John Weber. And that kind of helps the pieces fall into place in the bullpen then, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And I asked Jabba that question, would you be disappointed if you don't win the number 5 spot in the rotation? And he said no, but I actually think that there's no doubt that whoever doesn't win that spot, there's going to be some disappointment attached to it.
And Weber continues his torrid hitting this spring with a base hit to the gap in right center and more. He'll be into second, standing up with a 2-out double.
Weber's one of those journeymen who's been around the block. He's been in the Tampa Bay Rays organization, but here in spring he's been swinging a very hot bat for the Yankees. And it seems in limited action or limited opportunities, he's been able to come through. Maybe opening the eyes of other organizations. And Jack, that's a lot of the situations for some of these players who don't get much opportunity. They're trying to open the eyes. There's a lot of scouts here today.
That'll bring up P.J. Pilateri. to see Weber break, but fouled away. Jack Mariano Rivera also threw over there in Tampa today. We know he doesn't wear the road gray slacks, which means we weren't going to see him today, but he was scheduled to pitch yesterday. How'd he look today?
He looked like Mariano, and you know what I took out of there, Bob, is Reed Gurecki, a minor league player, actually had about as good an at-bat as you're ever going to have against Mariano Rivera, and it was very neat to kind of see up close. It was a 7 or 8 pitch at-bat, and Gurecki won it. He was able to smack a single into center field off Mariano Rivera, and I said, for this kid, that's got to be the highlight of his spring training. The other thing that was interesting is, as we talked about before, it was so quiet in the stadium that at one point, Mariano wanted to give some instruction to Austin Romine, the catcher, and he just yelled out, "No!" Instead of shaking his head or anything like that, he just said no. That's not what the pitch he wanted to throw or the location he wanted at that point.
And that one lifted up to the right side, and the first baseman called off. The second baseman, Ozzie Chavez, will handle it. All right, Jack, great stuff. Good talking to you as always. We head to the bottom of the ninth. We're all even at 7 here in Clearwater.
Get Nissan quality now. Get safety now. Get savings now. This is Nissan Now. A sales event with our best deals ever on our strongest lineup ever. 0% financing on every sedan, crossover, truck, and SUV. Plus, lease Altima, $199 a month. Hurry, event ends March 31st. Get to Nissan now.
Was it the number 7 train that carried his barrels across the land? Or was 7 simply his lucky number? Some say there were 7 women in his life, but one held a special place in his heart. Truth is, only Jack Daniel knows the true meaning of old number 7. And we won't be hearing from him anytime soon.
It's Chevy Truck Month, and that means full-size deals on full-size trucks like Silverado half-ton. Its powertrain is backed for 100,000 miles. It's a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road. Now during Truck Month, qualified buyers get 0% APR for 60 months or choose $4,000 total cash back on select 2010 Silverado models. It's Truck Month. See your local Chevy dealer.
The Sunday Daily News is celebrating modern Yankee heroes with great commemorative magazines. Each Sunday, get a big, full-color magazine of a Yankee hero, packed with extraordinary action shots, career highlights, and stats, plus a player poster. This Sunday, get Georgie, Jorge Posada. Yours free only in the Sunday Daily News.
All tied at 7 as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Phillies able to tie things up in the bottom half of the 8th. A home run by Dane Sardina off Phil Hughes, who, despite giving up a couple home runs, has looked very good so far.
Only one legit homer. The second one was extremely wind-aided, but still.
Dwayne Wise is in. Non-roster invitee lifts one down the right field line, curving foul.
Dwayne Wise was the center fielder when Mark Burley pitched that perfect game last year in Chicago, and he's the one who went up against the wall to make a perfect game saving catch. Put a ball back into the ballpark that would have been a home run.
Good little off-speed pitch there, changeup by Phil Hughes. 0-2. Another one pulls the string on that one, 79 miles an hour.
Back to back.
And Wise goes down swinging, and that's the toughest thing for a hitter, isn't it? When a guy has that kind of command on one, a 94 mile an hour fastball that can take 15 miles an hour off.
That is Hughes' 5th strikeout. He's been impressive.
Cody Ransom took over at first base for Ryan Howard, gets his first at bat. Hughes so far 39 pitches. Ransom chops one foul over by the on-deck circle for the Phillies.
Cody Ransom, the only player in Yankee history to hit home runs in his first 2 at-bats with the Yankees. Remember, one of those came in Baltimore at the Camden Yards. He smoked one. Ooh, good curveball.
Well, he has good command today.
So Ransom playing first base today. I don't remember him playing first with the Yankees. I remember second, short, and third. Maybe a little first somewhere along the line.
He's so versatile, a guy that, I mean, that's what's going to help him stick with a team. Not sure that he can do it with the Phillies, but that's why he's always getting an opportunity and finding work. And Hughes smokes him with a fastball for a second straight strikeout.
Well, Hughes has picked up strikeouts with his changeup. He's picked it up with the breaking ball on a call strike free of Utley, and now a power fastball right on by Cody Ransom. As Bob mentioned, all his pitches are working, but when you got number 1 working, that sets up everything else, and that was just a good one-on-one. See if you can hit it, and Ransom could. 6 strikeouts now for Phil Hughes.
And Greg Dobbs is the batter with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th. We're all tied at 7. Swing and a miss. You know, that's the tantalizing thing about Phil Hughes. This kind of stuff we saw in the bullpen, and it was so effective in the second half for the Yankees. But if he can do it over these long stretches, I mean, he's already done it 4 2/3 innings or 4 1/3 innings. It makes it that much more impressive.
He's had at least 1 strikeout in every inning that he's been in the game so far.
Took just a little something off that.
Well, like these guys are blindfolded or something. He's got him set up for a changeup after blowing 2 fastballs by him. Went with the curve and missed.
Deep to right field, and that one is off the wall. A quick throw into second base, but Greg Dobbs is in there, so he keeps this game alive, flirting with a home run and a walk-off win for the Phillies, but instead he's at second here with 2 outs.
Well, got to rise out of the crowd as soon as the ball was hit. They were thinking that the game was over, and they were looking for the car keys, but not quite yet. Was up in the strike zone. Might have been a changeup that was up, and maybe got on top of it a bit, hit up near the top of the wall. Winfrey gets it back in, and Greg Dobbs is now in scoring position with a 2-base hit. Whatever the pitch was, it was up in the zone.
And that brings up the third baseman, Wilson Valdez. And just slices one foul behind the plate. And actually went right through. Oh no, a guy caught it right before it went into the door of a luxury suite. He just saved a couple guys. Two outs, bottom of the 9th, and a runner in scoring position, all tied at 7. Phil Hughes on the hill has pitched very well. Fly ball out to left field. That is Weber chasing it, and Weber runs out of room. A game-winning home run off Phil Hughes for Wilson Valdez, and the Phillies win it 9-7. Valdez defying the wind as well, blowing left to right, but he cuts it through the wind into the Phillies bullpen and delivers a game winner.
Well, that was one of the worst pitches that Phil Hughes threw all afternoon. It was a hanging breaking ball in the middle of the plate. Nothing that John Weber or any other Yankee defender could do about it. Just watch it fly out of the ballpark. And now it's time to reach for the car keys.
Well, a good afternoon for Phil Hughes turned just like that. Still very effective in throwing pitches, but that, as Kenny mentioned, was a hanging breaking pitch over the center of the plate, and he ended up paying the price as Valdez sends one out to left, knifes through the wind, and ends up on the other side of the wall in a 9-7 Phillies win.
Yeah, quick swing. I think he thought he had it, but he wasn't sure because of the wind, and Valdez is the big hero. And Phil Hughes knows he threw a poor pitch. It's just a matter of whether it gets out of the park. It does, and the Phillies win.
When we built our first hybrid, YouTube didn't exist, and Facebook was still run out of a dorm room. When we built our first hybrid, more people had landlines than cell phones, and gas was $1.75 a gallon. And now, while other luxury car makers are building their first hybrids, Lexus hybrids have traveled 5.5 billion miles. And that's quite a head start.
Okay, which one of these facts sounds more shocking? Lots of Fios customers switch back to cable, or tons switch back.
Well, neither of those are facts. Actually, 98% of Fios customers stay with Fios.
Yeah, I mean, we're just making this stuff up. Question number 2.
I'm gonna take the stairs.
Which one of these sounds like we didn't make it up?
With 4 times more very satisfied customers, it's no wonder over 98% of Verizon Fios customers stick with Fios. This is beyond cable. This is Fios.
I just bought a 2010 Toyota Prius.
I am buying a new Toyota Camry.
Brand new 2010 Toyota Camry.
Your loyalty has helped make us the #1 car brand in America. So we're offering you our biggest thank you ever. Right now at your Toyota dealer, you can lease a new 2010 Camry for just $179 a month, or get 0% financing for 60 months.
Thank you for standing by us.
Saturday, Curtis Granderson visits his old spring training stomping grounds when he and the Yankees head east to Lakeland, Florida for a showdown with the Detroit Tigers. Spring training baseball starts Saturday afternoon at 1, only on Yes.
Well, the Phillies win it this afternoon 9-7 on a walk-off 2-run homer by Wilson Valdez. The story going into this game, pitching. A.J. Burnett needing work. Just 4 innings of spring baseball so far. He added 4 today, 7 hits, 5 runs. He struck out 4 and walked 3. Meantime, Phil Hughes, 4 1/3 innings in relief, 5 hits, 4 runs. He did strike out 6 and didn't walk any, but gave up 3 home runs. Meantime, speaking of long ball, let's get to the Geico plays of the game. Geico 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Yeah, authored by Mark Teixeira. Had a base hit. He had a booming double in the 3rd inning. Then in the 4th inning, a 2-run, his 3rd home run of the spring. Then the switch hitter gets on the other side of the plate, and a line drive single to center field. Mark Teixeira with our plays of the game. He had a 4-for-4 afternoon.
Well, a very productive afternoon for Mark Teixeira and the entire Yankees offense. The same could be said for the Phillies. 12 hits for each club and a 9-7 win for the Phils. Join us again Saturday for Yankees baseball as the Bombers head to Lakeland to take on the Detroit Tigers at Joker Marchant Stadium. Our coverage begins at 1 o'clock on Yes. Once again, our final scores: Phillies 9, Yankees 7. For Ken Singleton and our entire Yes Network team, I'm Bob Lorenz. Thanks for being here. We look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.